Beautiful people, welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as the Midday Show. That is your girl Adair, and I'm not going to forget myself today. I'm Sharif. And yes, as per usual, we're going to wait for everyone to migrate on over from the other stream, Adara, which I don't have loaded for whatever reason. So maybe you can do the shout outs today.
I can.
All right.
Thank you, Bears versus Bulls. Thank you, Mateus Lanes, Anurag, Benson Yang, Isaac Roberts,
Woo.
Step, Sofa Ruler, Juan Padilla, Bob W, Fat Figa. We have the Boring Man. So many people. Rogers, someone Pedro, Miranda.
See
Paul
how hard
Millington,
it is?
Kevin Mendoza. How do you do this? Frank Jones. Jones. We have two Fed speakers on right now. Llama Mama saying, "Yo Adira, yo Llama Mama." Yeah, no, it's two Fed speakers today. Even way forward today, but two right now. We had one starting at 10:10. That was Fed's boss. Could be someone else coming in at 11. Nvidia is falling, so I'm going to have to deal with her in a moment. Sean's printing on AMD. What a time to be alive, as Drake and Future once said. AMD. How are you doing today?
Wow, there you go. The short Katina man, right? Good call there. Taking double eights. South, shout out to the Katina man. This one is dipping $2 in the money, baby. We're going to cover AMD and we're going to cover all the chips. People have been yelling up and down about AMD. Hit it, Katina man. There we go. Give it to them. There we go. We got the Dollar Club in the house. George Washington's up in the club. He's got bottle service. He's got the corner booth, baby. Hit it.
It's 3 almost.
This thing is tanking, baby. Shout out to the Katina man. Good short there on AMD. Keep your eye on that VWAP, baby, because I've been looking at VWAP, and VWAP looks to be like an interesting level. Let's cover AMD before we get to everything here. I'll cover my trades. Daryl will go over what she's been looking at. And we've got, yeah, can you believe it? We have the lesson on how to trade. Yeah, here's the look on AMD. This is the 5-minute look. Let's switch to the 1-minute look because it's been awfully strong. I haven't seen a reason for AMD popping up, but you know, it's been kind of tame lately, so maybe we're due for a nice little move. Some support here coming in at the 50 period, which is the red line on my chart. Looks like it's holding up just a little bit here at that 186 level. We're gonna have to see what this one does. I was looking at that 184.5 possibly for an area of support. That is VWAP on my chart. This is the first time it's touched the 50 period since 8:30. Since we got that PCE print, the first time we've touched the 50 period here, right here on AMD. All the retracements on AMD from 8:30 onwards till right now have been above the 50 period. So an interesting pull in or pull back here at Dara. I'll just mention my trade quickly here on ENVB, which has fallen off my scanner. It's the #1 name on the day in terms of small cap gap percentage, up 180 some odd %, was much higher at the highs. We got involved here once it started breaking. So I was explaining it there. So this is my first entry here, and it's near the highs. And the only reason I got in here with small size, mind you, because if it went, I didn't want to go without me, so I want to have some skin in the game. And then I looked to defend at the $0.50, and then my last line in the sand with respect to DCAs was to defend this consolidation top over here. We know how former areas of support can, former areas of resistance can become support. And so that was the whole idea here, getting into this bad boy. And then it rocketed up, and then I just wet my beak until it rejected that 3, came right back down. The other trade I had was AAPL. We were looking to defend that low, the IB low early. Wet my beak on some profits there. Nothing really to write home about. We'll be looking for 180 again on Apple. It's a rinse and repeat type trade. Until that level breaks, I'm going to be looking for it. We're only about 75 pennies away from that trade. And then the other trade that I should have had, but I didn't have, and I was complaining to Jag. Shout out to Jag, one of the new guys sitting behind us right here. You'll be getting more acquainted with him because I'm sure you'll be seeing him more on camera. This was the 200 defend on TSLA. Look, it ended up breaking 200, but before it did, look what it gave you. It gave you an 80 banger. So if you were sitting there at 200, so say you're going to risk 25 pennies. So I'm going to get in at 200. I'll defend to 199.75. It didn't even come into that. It came into the mid-90s, so a 2-to-1 ratio for a winner there was absolutely in the cards. I missed it. That's on me. Now it's actually having trouble breaking through 200. So 200 now acting as a level of resistance. We're going to watch Tesla awfully volatile on the day. Good morning, Adair.
Good morning. Yeah, I mean, I was saying this in the chat. we're going to be really honest here. As I put it in the chat, nowhere for me to go but up because this Nvidia trade was dicey. And so what happened was I got in, then the Fed speaker starts at 11, we tank, and like I said before, I've had some issues with my stop losses. I literally have my keyboards up here trying to figure out how to do my keys. So basically what happened was it tanked, I couldn't get out, I stumbled. I need to set up my flattened key as well. I've just had some issues with like keys that are not the buy and sell, so I need to deal with that, but that's besides the point. No one to blame here but myself. That's okay, should have gotten out faster, but it tanked. And so, as I said, only way to go here is to the upside or to the downside, but either way, we could not have more of a loss than what I had here. So we're still in the game, not too bad, just dusting the dirt off our shoulders and ready to start a new day, get some new trades on. I like this Microsoft range, and I actually just got involved in this. That looks like this is gonna be breaking higher too, so that's fun. But I like this kind of move to the downside, right? We have these kind of ping-ponging up and down here. This, in retrospect, this does look like it could be like we're kind of gearing up to head back higher, but if we break kind of above this 408.60 area, so I'm gonna give this about 30 cents, I'm gonna be out. I was really looking for that 407.70 in terms of profit taking, so we'll see what we get.
All right, guys, we are talking today about the random walk hypothesis. Now, look, it's a trading show, so there's probably not going to be too many technical analysis haters out there, but if you hate TA, today is the day that you need to join, because this theory puts the whole kibosh on technical analysis and basically posits that, you guessed it, prices move willy-nilly. They move as they want, and hence the name random walk hypothesis, obviously really making it, dumbing it down pretty much here. We're gonna get into some of the details. So this is essentially a theory challenging your ability or anybody else's ability to predict the market and potentially influencing your investment strategy. So what exactly is it? I mean, I kind of prefaced it there, but let's get into the technical term. We're going to call this RWH because I'm not going to keep saying random walk hypothesis. So RWH suggests that stock prices follow a random walk, meaning their changes are unpredictable and independent of past moves. Obviously, that would forego any chart analysis because when we're looking at the chart, we're looking at history, right? I like this what's it called, analogy. Imagine a drunkard taking a random walk. Their path is erratic with no clear direction or pattern. Similarly, RWH claims past trends or past price movements cannot be used to forecast future prices. That is essentially what the theory is trying to say, and it does it mathematically, right? So why does it matter? Oh, what is it? Here we go. So we got the random walk theory, and here are the assumptions based upon this. So it's random, unpredictable variable causes, asset price movements, no pattern in randomness. The past is unreliable in projecting the future. History does not repeat itself. But that's not what TA says. TA says history doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. Attempting to outperform the market requires taking significant, what they call unjustifiable risk. That is, you know, the summary of what they are trying to posit there. And why does it matter, though? Because it has some significant implications. The first is, obviously, is technical analysis doesn't work. It says if price movements are random, analyzing past charts to predict future trends is futile. So again, if you hate TA, this is the lesson for you. And the market timing, the implications with respect to market timing. Trying to buy low and sell high based on market predictions becomes pointless according to RWH because, again, everything is totally random. I don't know how much I agree with all that, but we're gonna give you the theory and you make of it as you will. And there are also implications with respect to efficiency. RWH implies that the market is efficient. And efficient is not used in this sense as we use it in everyday parlance. It means that there's no, source to exploit. That's basically what it's saying there. So when markets are efficient, it's a lot harder to make money. Meaning all analysis might be difficult according to this theory. And so here's what it's going to impact your investments in your trade. So RWH suggests that beating the market consistently is difficult, but however, proponents argue that the best strategy is what they call passive investing, right? And this means buying and holding low-cost index funds. So basically, whoever came up with this theory did not like investing in singular equity names or even or anything else instrument-wise. They like low-cost index funds, things like the Qs, the SPY, anything similar to that. And they're looking for it to track the entire market. They're not looking for an ETF within a specific sector. No, it's a general ETF, again, like the triple Qs. This approach assumes you cannot outperform the market and aims to match its average return over time. So that's the idea there. And then basically matching the market, you're looking to basically try maybe and keep up to speed with the NQ or the S&P. Most people use the S&P as the standard. Here is some background and context, though. So some other theories, the idea that asset prices are random and unpredictable is also the key assumption of the efficient market hypothesis, which will be discussed tomorrow, by the way. But random walk theory also aligns with the semi-strong efficient hypothesis, another type of idea, which argues that it is impossible to consistently outperform the market. There's also, how do you say this? Burton Malkiel? Malkiel, thank you. Burton Malkiel, he posited that RWT was popularized by him in his 1973 book, A Random Walk Down Wall Street. That's where he put this whole theory in which he argues, amongst other things, obviously, that investors are better served by buying and holding broad index funds, as we just made clear there. However, RWH is not without its criticism. So a lot of proponents will say, no, the markets are not fully efficient. There is an element of inefficiency in the markets and therefore something to exploit. So some argue the market isn't perfectly efficient, allowing savvy investors to exploit short-term inefficiencies for profit. There's also behavioral biases with traders, investors, and just humans in general, which basically posits that randomness of individual investors' behavior might create opportunities for skilled investors who are better than them to capitalize on these biases. And then there's also the oversimplification criticism, right? Some argue that the theory is overly simplistic because it ignores how market participants behave, for example, when they're buying and selling, and how that can impact the prices and outcomes of a stock. So what should you do about it, right? RWH offers valuable insights, but it shouldn't be the sole guide for your investment or trading decisions. Consider the following 3 points. Make sure you do your research, educate yourself on the different investment philosophies and strategies, and that's why we're doing this entire week on market theories. Number 2, understand your own personal risk tolerance. Make sure you're balancing that risk based on your individual circumstances. And seek professional advice. Consult a financial advisor for personalized guidance tailored to your goals. So that is just a quick look at the random walk hypothesis. Adira?
Yeah, no, I think one thing too that I found interesting is I was looking through notes here on Investopedia, and they also said that another criticism some people have is that it kind of ignores the concept of these people who are really good at stock picking. We know Warren Buffett had pretty solid stock picks across the board, right? Like with Apple, with Occidental. So it kind of, the idea is that some people feel like these people who can pick stocks, who are successful in stock picking and who can outperform the market to some extent, are kind of being negated or ignored by the core tenets of this theory. Yeah. So that's one thing I found really interesting as well through the notes. But yeah, that even the example of the drunk man walking was also the one that was used in when I was doing these business courses online.
Right.
So it's interesting that is like one of the most common, for whatever reason, examples of the random walk hypothesis.
If I was a stock, I'd be offended by this theory, right?
I'd be like, I don't
compare me to a random drunk guy. What the hell? All right, let's look at the markets here. So I have a few small cap gappers on my charts. I already went through the trade I had on ENVB. Please just punch about that. But this one, I'm not going to let off the hook. Look where it is, above the pre-market high, above VWAP. So this is absolutely tradable, even though it has a topping tail candle through that 292, and we came right back down. Doesn't matter to me because it has my two requirements are fulfilled on this one: a definable pre-market high that was broken through after the bell, and it is above VWAP. So I'm not going to let ENVB off the hook. We're going to look on how we're going to bamboozle another trade off this. Maybe we can get in right now because I'm very impressed with the fact that it is holding this general area of resistance. Forget about these wicks. Forget about them. Look where the closing prints are. They're all above that level, above that 2 1/3. So this should be a possible interesting trade here as it may curl through that 3. So we're definitely going to set something up here if we can, if by the time I get to it, it's still at these levels. The other one, ADIL. This one started popping up again this morning, right? At that 930 level. The only drawback on this one is, number 2, it's a second day runner. So this one was running yesterday. Number 1, I mean, it's a second day runner. Number 2, we're still within an inside day. So look at yesterday's price action here on the left and look at where we're trading on the right. We're ensconced entirely from the north side and the south side, so we're still trading within yesterday's range. And number 3, this one is below VWAP, sadly, right? So VWAP hanging out at that 2 1/5 or thereabouts, and we're trading just above 2 at that 208. So this one's going to have to get above VWAP for me to get interested. And last time it tried, it got rejected. With even this big green candle over here, it was met with immediate selling at the volume-weighted average price. Last but not least, Hedera, this CXAI. This is a multi-day play as well. I think this one started going on Tuesday with that big move up. I think it had a headline. Yesterday, it sold off a little bit. Today, we are above yesterday's high. And we just came into Tuesday's high. So that 350, 345-ish level, that's a rinse and repeat resistance level that we have from Tuesday. So we're going to look for possibly some trades on this one as long as it stays above VWAP. I like this. We're going to keep looking at these bad plays.
CXAI is a really good look. A lot of these AI-related small caps running, as Brendan was mentioning on the big desk this morning as well, to Luis Barbados. We had also, because we can, Sundown very much up on the day. Yeah, honestly, a little bit of a rounded top here because we also did start to see a slightly lower high here and a lower low as of around when the midday started here, around 11:05. So that could be of note, but yeah, don't have a, I would say probably wait and see on this. Soundhound certainly I think will be an enticing one regardless of the earnings because we know people are interested in this name, especially after that Nvidia investment announced a couple weeks ago. We have a couple super chats though, so I did not get to these. Ahmed Amwala saying, 729 super chat. Thank you very much here for the super chat. Saying Adora long coin today. So let's look at coin. Let's take a look here at Coinbase. Yeah, I think.
Pamp it.
Pamp it. Yeah, I think coin definitely a bit to the downside. And I apologize, I didn't get to see this super chat right away, so might have been a better look earlier. But yeah, I think right now, especially that failure of that earlier base of that 201 area, we broke down below 200. Honestly, I probably won't be trading this type of name anyway, just because I kind of try to avoid these crypto stocks. As I say, you know, Obi talks about mother market. I see the crypto stocks are really interested in mother Bitcoin, so I don't really have a good read on them.
Why isn't it
right
father
now.
Market?
That's true.
I love your look on your face there. I caught you off guard. The Germans call it the fatherland.
Really?
They do. Did you not know that they call it the fatherland?
That.
Yeah, they do. The Germans call it the fatherland.
I had no idea.
Yeah. I just throw you a curveball.
Okay,
come on, you know.
Thank you. I like curveball. But yeah, so I have to say, Ahmed, I don't know if this is long for me right now, but I think there's certainly opportunities. I know Neil was short Coinbase at one point briefly. And I think certainly if Bitcoin, you know, keeps having these spikes up, I think there's certainly some opportunities. But like I said, I always have a little bit of a harder time finding levels on these crypto-related stocks. One level that I do think could be interesting again as well is this 202.50. Look, we had this a bit of support here at 740. Then we come back into resistance once at 1020, then again at 1045. This could get really spicy here, that 245 area with coin. Also, Kyle Burdett, member super chat, member for 4 months. Thank you so much, Kyle Burdett. You'll find this hard to believe, but I am short Tesla from the 205 and short Qs and Apple and Google. Let's give up 180 today, Apple. Let's look at Apple. Thank you so much for the chat. And yes, so many, that Tesla short off 205 was fantastic. But yeah, okay, Apple also getting spicy. I keep saying that, but the stocks keep being spicy. So we had this pop at 930, then downside for Apple. Shout out to Sean for shorting this one, taking some bites out of the apple there. I think it'll be interesting to see what we do if we come back down into this 180.40 area, because that would be a double bottom, but also this is a little bit of a head and shoulders look as well, that this would be including pre-market action, right? So you have, if we want to say head and shoulders, we have the head-ish shape at 182.10, then we have a pseudo shoulder, 180, coming back about 180, 170, so a little bit of a lopsided shoulder, but that could be what we're looking at here on AAPL. Last but not least, and again, I'm so sorry for the late look at these. The Hayes Records, 199 super chat.
Hey.
Thank you very much. Got level 1 on Webull. What should I expect? Tagging Neil. So I don't know if Neil responded to this one in the chat. I don't know anything about Webull.
I just know it's a trading platform.
Yeah, I know
don't
it's a trading platform, and
level
apparently they're going public through a SPAC. I read that yesterday as well.
Cool. Yes, I did hear about that.
But I don't know about the level 1 there. And I like the little grill emoji as well. So sorry, I can't answer that question. But yeah, I do think, congrats. Shout out to you for the super chat. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
much
always.
appreciated. Also, yeah, so I did have another failed moment in Nvidia, though had I stayed, it actually would have worked out. So I got short here. I just set my stop too early.
Guys, show her screen.
I wanted to get out at 793. I got in around 792.20s. I got out at 793, and then of course the second we hit 793, we come tumbling right back down. I missed out. That's okay. We're gonna maybe be out video for a little bit because this has just not been my type of day with this stock. However, much like Kyle, I am short the Qs right now, and I really like this look right here. We're gonna set our first profit taker for this 437.25 area, so I'm gonna get that going. Not a huge position. Like I said, when I have kind of weaker days like what we just saw with Nvidia, I like to kind of metaphorically wet my beak, get back into the market and kind of stretch it and see opportunities I like. I like that we keep having this flattish bottom with lower highs. Right now it's working out. We're going to have to see how that goes. How are you doing?
In at 2.5 on ENVB, looking to wet my beak at 69s. We'll see if we can make that move up there. I took some out initially at 69, then the top, the best print I have. And there it is again, Adara through 69s on ENVB. This thing keeps going up 2.25% on this bad boy. Please just punch about this trade. I did have a dip trade to defend that key area of, I was going to call it resistance, previous resistance, now former support, this 2 1/3. We dipped down ever so briefly below 2 1/3. If you're looking at the 5-minute candle, it's just a wick. It's not actually a closing print. So this level still very much relevant to me as a key level of support. Please just punch about this trade. I'm not letting this one off the hook. I'm telling you, we're going to keep rinsing and repeating on ENVB so long as it maintains its level above VWAP and doesn't start giving up the ghost. And I saw Neil in the chat say that he is looking at Coinbase short, and that you don't have to tell me twice about that. Let's go and have a look at COIN. It's a bit weak on the day. Let's leave Apple on there because we may want that 180 defend. Let's go to the NASDAQ. Jeez. All right, here we go with COIN. Hello, bro. Come on. All right, there we go. All right, they're stair stepping down. So I do like this for the simple reason that we're seeing the trend. The trend is lower highs, lower lows. The trough that we have off which to work, we just broke. So we're right at that key level from before, 197.20 or 197.25 or thereabouts. We're breaking that. Now we're dipping below 197. We're in that 196.75, 196.5 territory. What a fantastic move down for Coinbase. This thing was at 210 at, what time was that? Was that the IB high? Yeah. The IB high here is just in and around that 210, 211 area. So we're well off the highs here on Coinbase as we, print downwards. Now, how I get into this is going to be an entirely different story. I'm not going to get in at the lows, just like I wouldn't go long at the highs. We're going to have to wait for a retracement. I'm assuming that 200 here will start acting as a key level of resistance, seeing how it acted as a level of support. So yeah, sure, you broke it down here at around 10.15, but then you reclaimed the level quite quickly, got right back up into 203. Then look how many times we dip into 200, defend. The first initial one here, 10.45, we bounce back up. And then you have this long consolidation area right at 200 before you give up the ghost. So 200 to me should act as a level of resistance if we make our way back to it. I'll be looking to short coin off 200 again. That is assuming, of course, that Bitcoin doesn't start flying to 70,000 midday in the same way that it blew through 60,000 and went up to 65 yesterday midday. I don't want to take that heat. Right, so we're going to keep an eye on this one. Another one I'm very interested in on the day. The other one, I'm going to be looking for Apple 180 yet again. It's not giving it to me just quite yet. Bouncing off that 180.5 for now. And then Tesla. What's Tesla up to here? Yeah, it's kind of very sideways at 200, nothing for me to do. Yeah, so that's basically all my ideas for the day. I'm sure we'll have more as the day goes on, Adair.
Yeah, I am still in this little Q's short. Picked up a little bit. I don't like this higher low at all. We got like literally pennies within, or simulator pennies, I guess, because I'm still in the sim, within my point of entry, or I guess my point of exit here, and then we ran away like, you know, a scared deer. But that's okay. I changed my point of, there we go. We're out of the first part of this position. Okay. Let's keep going. I got really excited there. We're going to get the rest out here. 37.18s. I like this, and I'm totally comfortable getting back in this. Should we come, you know, back up and give some more range to work with. But as we move out of a range, I kind of become the scared deer, and I'm like, where do we go? So I'm happy with this trade. I kind of needed like a successful trade to kind of, you know, wet my beak with, like I said, to kind of get back into the swing of things after that Nvidia situation. I also was in a Microsoft trade briefly here, so tried to go short this because I was noticing these lower highs. I think I mentioned this one. Then we pop up into VWAP. We get into my area of exit. I get out. Then we come right back down. So that's okay. You're not always going to get everything you want, and especially not in trading. And you just have to learn to adapt.
So true.
I like also if we rest here, this could actually be a higher low. In that case, maybe we're curling back up. I don't want to assume anything though, so I'm going to probably stay away from Microsoft for the time being as well until I see something I really like. There's something that's going to be appealing to me with the potential to trade. Tesla getting kind of interesting. Someone in the chat, I apologize, I forget who it was, said Tesla has no drive today. Shout out to you for that amazing pun, but also you're really not wrong. We fell to the downside, and now shout out to Kyle Burdett being in that short here. Then we get down into 199.60. Then we pop back up into 200. Now we're kind of coiling. It looks like we could be curling back up to the upside here. But again, I would need a little bit more confirmation before I get involved in this. I also think it's worth noting how we kept going, falling here off the 9 EMA. Okay. So the 9 EMA, I find, for whatever reason, can sometimes flip between support and resistance. I think this could get really interesting if this becomes a support level, but again, no assumptions. My other big Mag 7 name I'm watching, Amazon. Look at this kind of compression wedge. I think we could be breaking to the upside here. I'm actually I was trying to get involved in this, then we completely ran out of my area, but I'm gonna try to get back involved here because we're kind of at a price level I like more. If we break below, down into these lower lows here, I'm gonna have to say au revoir. We just got in. Let's see if this one can deliver. Oh, W instead of an L, because let's see if Amazon gives us some nice move up here. Also, I just want to quickly look at CELH because a lot of people mentioning that. CELH, oh yeah, massive move here. This one, talk about a triple top. This, for whatever reason, this 71.70 area, super key. Bit of a bottom here at 63 as well. Continuing to pop to the upside. Lots of volatility here, about a 9-cent spread. But yeah, I mean, nice kind of bounce off VWAP. Continuing to top and turn here off the 9 EMA. Not anything that I have any room for, but I in terms of my trading strategy, not anything that I can really see anything with. But I do think this area of 75.60 could be interesting. We kind of chop and turn off here, then we bounce here off the 9 EMA. I think that's a nice look. And like I said, that 71.70 triple top cannot be overstated. What are you looking at? I'm looking at
Mara. Oh, geez, this. I want to mention it first. I want to show you the chart. Mara is down big, 18.25%. This thing is absolutely flushing, and it's not because of earnings. Look what came in midday, Adara. Marathon Digital files for mixed shelf offering. We don't actually have the exact amount. Basically, they didn't disclose the amount, but the SEC filing is on the Seeking Alpha website. So if you want to go check it out there, here's the PDF. Yeah, this is the actual filing itself, United States Securities and Exchange Commission. I obviously haven't had a chance to read this, but we know what happens midday when a stock files for an offering. So big move down here on Mara. And I'm pleased this punch, man. I got to tell you the truth. I got into very few shares for the earnings. We missed on earnings, but I am now of the opinion that we will probably continue up on Bitcoin. And if that is the case, I want to wet my beak on some of these secular trends, and therefore I'm going to involve myself in different crypto-related names, whether it's mining, exchanges, or the ETFs themselves. I want to have some skin in the dang game here, so I don't watch this run like I watched the chips run in AI. It wasn't involved in the AI craze either last year because I was too busy involved in Meta. But Mara, absolutely tanking on the day as a result of this mixed shelf offering. Keep that in mind. Now, we'll have to wait and see how this one trades, but if you know Mara and you know how it trades, you know that a 15, 16% daily swing, I don't want to say is typical, but is within the character of this name. And the Chilean Nightmare hitting the bangs there because he's all about the crypto life, baby. And he's probably pleased as punch as well, although he may not want to use that expression. Anyway, let's have a look at the big tech names because I didn't do my big tech review today. So here's the big tech chart. Let's have a look at what is strong on the day. And there is not a whole lot here of strength, Fabian, with respect to Apple, as this one dips down near the lows again at 180.30. So we're going to be, again, I hate to be a broken record, but I'm staring at 180 for Apple. And then I have to kind of agree with Adara. And this looks like Adara's kind of wheelhouse here, baby, because after that big move up that we got on the Amazonian today, we've been hugging VWAP, that magnetic effect that the OB, the one, the Canob always talks about, where you have this price action seems to be magnetically attracted to whatever indicator it is on the day, whether it's VWAP or the 50 or the 20 or whatever. It depends on the day and what it's respecting. Today, it's certainly VWAP. All the wicks into the volume weighted average price are being bought up. Now, you may not like this as a momentum trader like myself. You want to see direction, break up or break down, but don't give me consolidation. But that's not how everybody trades, right? A lot of people want that rinse and repeat predictable level, and VWAP gives you that in spades today, right now on AMZN, so keep your eye on that. Now, I gotta tell you, this is looking awfully accumulating at this level, so if we get that break, especially on a strong market move, maybe on the NQ, we could get that 175.25 break. Right now, though, lo and behold, it's rejecting off where? Resistance level 2 on the pivots. The pivots maintain their presence on my charts, and that's not by accident. It's because they keep looking good. I ran out of words.
Good,
yeah. Anyway, moving on here to some of these other names. Google was awfully strong off the bell today. It's been very weak with respect to that issue that they've been having with Gemini and how it's being selective. I'm not going to go on a rant about that. Again, I went on a rant yesterday. Right now, though, rejecting off that general 139 area, 138.86 is the top. Right now, though, bouncing off the pivot point. So if you're looking at that green dotted line on my chart, that is the actual pivot point, which is based on yesterday's high, low, and close, okay? And then we project that level onto today. So right now, it's at 136.73, and that is technically the low on the day, exactly where the pivots are. So we're gonna have to keep an eye on Google, because it's awfully weak as well. And then people have been yelling at me in the chat with respect to Tesla. Look, I mean, it gave up the ghost on 200, right? 199 and 1/5 is exactly the low of the day. Now it's acting like 200 is a resistance level rather than a support level for this one. Putting a bit of a hammer candle now. We're going to have to wait and see how this resolves. But if this makes its way into the 10 period EMA, which is the green, not the dotted line, the, what do you call this? Solid line on my chart. Maybe we'll get involved here. So that would take us back up to 205 or so. So it's really respecting that 10 EMA on the day, TSLA. And then Microsoft, we'll get to Nvidia last. Softy is too consolidative, too sideways, too undecided in what it wants to do. And it's really, I feel like Softy has been that way for a while. Remember when we used to call Apple the dead one? Now Apple's the down one, and Softy is the dead one a little bit, with a very tight range for a $400+ name. But Nvidia was awfully strong. It looked very much like Amazon, right? Like that big move up at 8:30 on the PCE number. Then we consolidate sideways until the bell rings, and then we pop up again. The only thing is, though, unlike Amazon, Nvidia has given up the ghost at VWAP, breaking through that 794 or so, or thereabouts, where VWAP was. Now it's doing the dance here with that 788. It's coming into that pre-market consolidation range after the PCE print, but before the bell. Look how long we consolidated from essentially 8:30 to 9:30. We were very sideways. We're right back at that level again. Does this pre-market level act as a level of support off which we can get along. Going to be watching Nvidia here. Make sure you're using proper risk management strategies and tools and whatever on this name, because you know what Nvidia can do. It can move. It can move. I'll just leave it at that. Like, yeah, literally can't. Well, not literally, but you know what I mean. It really.
Give it a day, Sharif.
Figuratively,
Let it try. Let it try.
Know,
It probably
right?
could.
The AI.
You put a mountain in front of it, it'll be like.
You never know what this AI can do.
Right.
What's your look over there, Adair?
Yeah, my look. Also, yeah, I do want to echo the Nvidia thing as someone who got. I'm not even gonna say anything. Just you can see how I got very swept up at the bamboozlement that is Nvidia. So that is why we do say that stuff. But I just wanted to use this as an example because. Oh boy, as Obi
just
says.
said our future overlords, referring to the AI.
Oh yeah.
It's like we're going to be like the, yeah, you get it.
Yeah, no, I think this Nvidia, I totally agree with that area of support that you're mentioning. If this gets a bit rangier, I might dip my toe, but I do want more confirmation first. Okay. Because of some situations that we won't mention that involve what happened to me in this name earlier. All good, just trying to learn from every trade and grow. That Amazon range, as you alluded to, I am in love with. I initially got out of this one, we had that massive drop down because I set my point of exit a little bit too high perhaps. Then we test this VWAP and we bounce right up again, and I think I want back in. I get back in, I add a little bit right at VWAP here. We're having a really hard time though. Now I'm starting to see these lower highs. So if we can, we're holding a VWAP well, I have no reason to leave yet. If we break below with this into that 174.30, I'm gonna have to cut the cord and get out of this name post haste because this is looking very dicey indeed. Also Tesla, I was thinking this could have been long here because we had these lower highs. We had like, until we had that big drop, we actually did look like we were kind of curling up a little bit. Alas, we did not. I should have waited, like I said, I should have waited for that 9 EMA short instead of what I did, which was go long with not enough confluence to support that, and then the market goes down basically instantly after that fact. So that's what's happening here with Tesla and Amazon. Yeah, I'm trying to work on this, trying to get a little bit sharper with my points of entry. Microsoft kind of continuing to go down here at VWAP. There's actually maybe not a bad short here off VWAP.
Yeah,
as you said, it's been the dead one, but it's also, I kind of like trading the ones that are the dead one. That's kind of a bit more my style. So I'm totally okay with that short. I got involved in this short here way too early, and then I set my point of exit way too tight. So then I kind of missed on that big move down. But like I said, really just about trying to get better at where I enter stocks because I know that's something that I need to work on. And that's what I think is really great about the Trader TV community. You have the opportunity to come here and learn every day. I'm very lucky to be able to learn with people like, Sharif, Sean, Neil, Brendan, Obi, everybody in the back as well. So hopefully these lessons will stick in, and I need to get out of Amazon. So I will have to say sayonara to this trade. Go,
There's
Sean.
somebody printing over there to my right, and he goes by the name of the Katina Man, still holding AMD short. So make sure you are following along with the Katina Man's trades, with the Neil's trades, and I'm going to show you exactly where you can find that kind of information, Fabian, if we can show this. This is our other channel. It's called More Trader TV. You'll see on the top right here, Sean, short Apple, short Google, short the Qs, AMD, Amazon, and you'll be able to see where he is long. You'll see Neil not in any positions at the moment. And then you'll be able to see the economic calendar, the stocks, today's biggest movers, powered by trade ideas. There's a ticker on the top. There's a ticker on the bottom. The gauntlet, baby. We're very proud of this channel, and it's in the link, the description of our. Ram, you're killing me.
Link in description.
The link is in the description, all right, of our video right now. So you can go ahead and find it there. But if you want to subscribe, it's called More Trader TV. And that's the look there. All right. I promised Killer Cam I'd look at Vanny, Ram. Do you remember Cameron, the rapper from the 2000s?
Yes, I do.
That was his nickname, Killer Cam, right?
Oh,
so I love that. So when Killer Cam messaged in the chat, I was all about that life. And then we also have a Killer Katina here. We got a Killer Cam and a Killer Katina. $3 in the money. 1, 2, 3. $3 in the money Apple. $3 in the money Apple. $1 in the money on Amazon. He's killing it. All right, let me talk about this Vanny trade real. Well, I didn't take a trade. The name. $1 in the money TQs. $1 in the money TQs, baby. The Katina Man's printing. This finally he says, but he's over. VANI. I don't know. Adair doesn't like these small cap gappers, but look how nice this is bouncing off VWAP. right? Why I like this is not because it's moving parabolically like it was yesterday. In case you're wondering why I'm even bringing up Vanny, well, it had a big boy move yesterday. I mean, this was living its life under that dollar, and yesterday it saw the other side of 750. Right, we're kind of in between right now. Definitely an inside day on the day with respect to yesterday's price action, but that doesn't mean there's nothing to be had here. And what I see is a lot of support at VWAP. So this is a beautiful look here. If you're looking for something a little bit more calm and you want to wet your beak in small cap land, this might be an interesting trade at 415, 420, thereabouts. But don't expect anything parabolic. You may get it. I'm not saying you won't, but you know, set your expectations up to be realistic on this name. So VANI, good look here. And I probably won't participate in it today, but I wanted to shout that out. Who else here was Dan the Man Emmons says, this is my trade. ES targets 50.84, 50.81, 50.77, short entry at 94, stop at 98, giving a couple of points room of, you know what, you can go and read that if you want. Tired of getting taken out before the move in the ES. Dan, I couldn't agree with you more. I hope you print on it. That's all I'm going to say. The Crazy Stitch Lady, DOC is right in your game. Look into what the company does. DOC, Physicians Realty Trust. It's probably an American thing, though. Look, I got to tell you, the way that the healthcare system is structured in this province will make you not want to get involved in the healthcare game. That's all I'm going to say about that. It's just it's done so poorly. I know Big Dougie, he's the premier in this province. He's kind of like the governor of the province. He's looking at reforming it. We'll see when we get there. But yeah, thank you for that suggestion, the Crazy Stitch Lady. Appreciate you. Henry Chung will be posting the link to your new channel on X. All right, all right. Look, dude, I don't hate X. Don't get me wrong. I'm an Elon fanboy. I already made that point clear. I just feel, you know, that everyone who has an issue, who's upset about something, can go to X to get more upset about it, right? And that's not the look I'm going for. But I hope he does well with it. Adrian Hernandez, any book recommendations for trading? Absolutely. I would suggest 2 books. The first one is more technical analysis. The second one is more trading psychology. So the first one is Technical Analysis of the Financial Markets by John J. Murphy. And then what's the other one? Trading in the Zone by, what's his name, Neil? Trading in the Zone. You can just Google the author. Mark Douglas, thank you. Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas. I've read both of those a number of times. I don't want to call them basic, but I would start there, okay? And then moving down, Big Kyle Burdett, $4.99 super chat. Spit the money, hit the bang, smack, and round your bottoms. Big Kyle is printing money, 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 money. Shout out to Kyle, taking that bad boy short. I'm assuming he's short the futures of some sort. Shout out to you. The Boring Man, Apple under 180. I was too busy yelling about stuff. I couldn't even see that. Jay Lee, Sean, Neil, Sharif, Big, T, Triple Q, Quadunk, just now. You all holding onto these shorts? LOL, fun day. And then we have Bhavan. Can you please look at the chart for VLCN? Do you want to have a look at VLCN?
Totally
Unless you're busy.
I am not busy.
Okay.
I am trying to give myself a mini market detox because my trades have been today. But that's okay. Let's look at VLCN. Yeah, exactly. We learn and we grow.
Exactly.
And this, you know, you talk. What I appreciate too is you talk a lot about like certain markets. Like I know you like these kind of trending markets, right? And so you'll be like, consolidated markets aren't for me. This is what I'm feeling right now, but the opposite. We have super trending market to the downside, so definitely just trying to find my footing here. VLCN though, okay, this is a nice look. This is Vulcan. This one, I noticed this one popping up the last couple of days as well. Not really seeing much on it in terms of news, but we had this pseudo bottom here at 180, slightly higher highs, higher lows, really good volume, but we haven't really eclipsed that pre-market high. So from like a Sharif small cap analysis perspective, what I see is a lack of a higher high from pre-market. We have not beat that pre-market high. Also right now we're just dancing with VWAP. So I really—
On the sell side too.
To this, yeah, exactly. From like we're having a hard time getting above VWAP right now. So I think if we were to use the Sharif small cap method, which is It needs to be above VWAP, and it needs to be breaking its pre-market high. We are miles away from the pre-market high of that 267. So I think this is kind of a, for me, it's not really something I would have any wiggle room in or any room to kind of jump around. So I think this VLCN, let's look at it on the daily chart as well. I just think, honestly, it's going to be hard to find a point of entry, just given how it's trading right now. Yeah, this is a crazy move. So we go kind of solid downward trend, then we kind of spike up, continue gap up here, and it's kind of this red candle. Yeah, not a lot of levels here, just the way this is trading. However, one level I would keep an eye on is going to be 204, and I say that because look at this as a pre-market level. We close into it, then we open down from it and have a massive move to the downside here, October 17th, 2023. This 204, we're near it. I don't know if it's going to be level in the intraday, but I think to me this is the clearest level I can find on the daily chart for VLCN. Also, Nick Free asking if we talked about SIDU. I did bring up SIDU on the small cap recap at around 10:20. And also, shout out to Luis Barbado from the Barcelona office. He came on and talked a lot about a lot of different small caps, including SIDU today. But honestly, this is one of the better looking ones today. Look at this, continue move to the upside. We broke the pre-market high. VWAP, they don't know her, it's well above VWAP. So I think if we're gonna use, again, the Sharif patented, I'm joking, small cap analysis, I would say this checks all the boxes. And it's also moving pretty nicely off the 90 EMA if you want to level on this one. Again, no advice, just my take on the chart. Also worth noting, really small float, 2.69 million shares. And they don't have a catalyst today, but they did announce that they are preparing for launch. This was a couple days ago, they announced this on Tuesday, saying that they're getting ready to launch here and that they were planning on launching no later or no earlier, sorry, than March 2024. So that's the look here on SIDU.
It's going,
nice the upside.
It's going.
It is, yeah, it does not want to the moon, literally, because it's going to be launched.
What is going
yeah,
on?
This is a wild move.
Right?
All these small caps are moving up. All these mega caps are having a moment. I don't know. It's hard to know what to do in this market. I'm going to be really honest with you. I'm just trying to learn every day.
Good. I mean, that's really all we're all trying to do. By the way, SIDU, negligible short float, guys, about 5.5% of the float is shorted. Trade ideas and my program not jiving with respect to how much the float is. Trade ideas saying 750,000, and my platform is saying about 764,000. Not much of a difference there, but the short float about half. 5.5% of that is shorted. Now, we have to do some charting on SIDU here because, well, it's going and I'm not punching in at these highs. So I need to know where the key areas of resistance are, et cetera, et cetera. All right, so SIDU, clearly a former runner. And you know how I know? Look how I have its name back from January. I have its name again here from, is that January of 2023? No, that's January this year, okay. So this was mid-January. This one started going. It did a 100-to-1 split mid to late December, probably to get back in the NASDAQ's good books and get above $100, excuse me. And after that, it pumped up. After the split, it shot up to 19 bucks, came right back down, held $4, the previous area of support. And here we go again, second day play. But bigger than yesterday, it looks like, today. We opened up, where did we open up here on SIDU? 613, and we have a high of 863, so good look there. Now, with respect to resistance, where could we expect this resistance level? Well, we're almost there at that January 29th high. We got into about 9 1/3, so we rejected off 9. So I'm going to say that general 9 area, right? We're probably going to encounter resistance. But then when you look at what we did on January 24th, we got up into 10, even though it was a topping tail candle and we ended up closing below 9. We closed at 8 3/4. We did eventually get up to 10 on the day. So this one, I'm going to say likely a 10 top rather than a 9 top, but we'll wait and see there. Right now it's 8 2/3 is the high. You like these roundy bottoms, right? Like look at this, right? We sold off aggressively. Now we rounded out, based out at $4, and here we go through the top. SIDU looking awfully good on the day. We're going to see if we can bamboozle some trades on this name. Let me just flip over here to the 30 and get that the ticker. All right. So I'm not gonna get in at these highs. Maybe if it dips back into 8, we'll look to defend that 8 level. We obviously have a key area of resistance at 8 before we held VWAP and broke through 8, now on our way to 9. SIDU, I'm gonna go ahead and put that dip trade now, because what's left with it? We're gonna sit at 805, because my lucky number is 5. I'm born in the 5th month.
Yeah, there you go.
And I have another 5 in my day of birth, and I just like the number 5.
5's a nice number. I have that too. I have the number 11 as like my lucky number. Like it's like, you know, you always get numbers that you. So I realized too that actually also could have to do with my date of birth, which is really funny. I never thought about that. That should be like a
What's
study.
your lucky number?
11.
11, yeah,
1st.
okay.
So.
Oh, 1-1.
I didn't even think about that until just now. You made me realize that.
Yes, okay.
That'd be weird. It'd be like a study if people's lucky numbers have any correlation with their date of birth. I don't know.
Forget about trading. This is why I'm here. Right? I'm here to analyze astrology, baby. No.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I guess you could argue, as we did with random walk theory, that some people do think technical analysis is kind of like astrology, right? You're making wild guesses and stabs in the dark. Yeah, Ramin killing it, as always. Save to Fabian. Shout out to the production team. Killing it with our second stream, more Trader TV live. Also, Kashif sadly mentioning this Tesla long at 199.50. Yeah, not a bad look. We did pick up here. Not one that I really have the confidence to get involved with just yet. I'm going to be really, really honest. Like I said, bad trading day thus far. A total of 0 positive trades. But that's okay. Looking for new opportunities. If we, my area for long for Tesla is going to be more of interesting. It's going to be more interesting for me what we do at this 199.70. I say that, and I'm going to draw this out to explain why I say that. Because look at this. We have this bounce here off that 199.70 area. We come back in, we reject off the 9 EMA, now we come back into that 199.70. If we break above this and then we continue to rest and have dip buy opportunities off the 9 EMA, I'm gonna get interested. If we fail this, I think the Tesla short could still be in play, but like I said, I feel more comfortable trading ranges. If a range develops, if we get levels I like, I will happily jump in here today. So here we go. Also, thank you so much to Miju for the, I don't know what kind of currency this is, the W.
Oh, yeah, good question. Maybe we can copy and paste it and then figure it. Go ahead, I'll figure it out while you're talking.
Thank you so much for the super chat, though. I only subscribe to Trader TV and Kim's stock YouTube channels, and all stocks are plus. The synergy between the two channels is amazing.
Juan.
Thank you always. Oh, it's Juan, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for the 5,001 super chat. Yeah, thank you very much. Much appreciated. Thank you so much for the support. We love being here and trying to bring some you know, explanation of the markets, some interaction with the markets. I'd like to be interacting a little bit more, but honestly, not trying to force myself into some trades. Hopefully, though, this market will give some spicy range opportunities. How are you doing over here?
I'm in a state of bewilderment. I don't know what to do with this Apple trade. I haven't taken the trade. I don't know how to take the Apple trade. Am I waiting for a 180 defend? Did we just get a perfunctory break of 180 down to 179.60-ish, and then we're going to defend that 180 level? Or are we going to use 180 as a key level of resistance, and we're just breaking above it by a couple of pennies right now? Now it doesn't look like a couple of pennies anymore. Here we go into the mid-teens on AAPL. So it looks like that 180 coming back, but you know, you're not going to catch me going long here until I see some higher highs and higher lows. Right now, we don't have any higher highs. And as I look on the 5-minute chart, we've been holding that 10-period EMA awfully well. We haven't had anything print above the 10 EMA since essentially 10:40 this morning on the 5-minute chart on Apple. So perhaps I could be looking to short at that 180.30, 180.25, which is where the 10-period EMA is on my chart. I mean, to me, this is a bit of a tougher trade. I'm going to have to think about this one, but Apple now decidedly above 180, looking to hold that level, and it's putting in that doji candle. And Adara, let everybody know from our week on candlestick patterns what the doji means.
The doji is like usually a period of indecision because we have some movement up and down, and it can mean we're going to have a little bit of a reversal.
Bang.
And that's what we're seeing. Also, getting some advice here from Ramin or Fabian, live Trader TV, or live trading by Trader TV Live, saying indulge in the wilderness, eat the apple. So I guess that's the only stock advice you need right there. No, I love that. Thank you so much. It sounds like a perfume ad. Indulge in the wilderness.
Right? Yeah, it did a little bit. Yeah,
AAPL. But yeah, no, that's a really good look, honestly.
You know what I mean? So I'm not there. Oh, I like that shot. I'm kind of, I'm not sure exactly how to play this. You know, what I could do is I could get short now, and then if it makes a high above that 180.30, I could get out and then maybe look long. I'm unsure how to play this. Here comes Apple right back down to 180. Now, do we hold 180 here, or is that the end of it? Are we going to dip right back down? We're going to start printing lows, maybe in the 179.50s. Questions to be answered here on AAPL as the market dips off 17.9. Man, I'm not watching the futures as much as I should these days. I need to have these orders. I did not see the NQ dip into 17.9. I would have had something on it. Look at this dip into 17.9 on the future. Oh, that's a missed trade by me. My goodness. It's all good. Yeah, 17.9 holds, and we're right back up. So are we getting just a perfunctory bounce here on Apple? It's right down below 180 again. This looks like a short to pop to me, Adira, even though the future's pumping up. I'm going to pack my patience here and try to bamboozle a trade here on AAPL. And I went over to Neil. I asked Neil, I'm like, what's your look? And he was a little indecisive too. He's like, I'm watching. I'm going to figure it out, you know, as it, you know, the price action unfolds. So I don't feel like I'm on my own on this one. And I see people buy the dip, short the pop. Everybody's got an opinion on Apple, and I don't disagree with a lot of what you're saying. So we're gonna watch. Yes, Franco Boso, it's a perfunctory bounce. Google it.
Yeah, I think what you were saying about the bewilderment in Apple, I think you summed it up really well. It seems to be a stock that, as I say, sometimes doesn't know what it wants to be when it grows up.
Yes.
But yeah, no, I think the Apple, it could get really spicy. I found a trade I liked, and I didn't force it. I do like it. This AMD short. Shout out to a lot of people in the chat mentioning this AMD short. I believe Sean and Neil might have also been short AMD at some point as well today. I think Sean was. But I like it. We have that break below the 90 MA. Someone was just asking about what lines I like using on my charts. I have VWAP here in the blue, and I have the 90 MA in the purple. And I honestly, you know, like as Shreve said, or has said sometimes, I found really helpful, these lines aren't always gonna come into play, but it's always nice to know they're there and to be aware of where they are. Now I like this as well because I'm looking at the book, and the way we're holding this 186 area and curling below, I like. I'm really happy with it. Someone's saying that it looks like it might be curling up. I do see what you're seeing a little bit here because we did have that VWAP bounce. However, we've had lower highs and higher lows. Furthermore, as long as we don't break above here, above this 186.55 area, we're not actually going to have, you know, I like the idea of support becoming resistance. I'm not getting out of this until I see a decisive break above that. So that's what I'm going to really be chatting about here in this AMD. I have no idea how it's going to go. I really, like I said, was just trying to find a trade I felt confident in after some situations earlier. But also, but yeah, so there's a lot of different stuff here taking a look at. As you can see, we're gearing up for Neil's lesson of the day, which we missed yesterday, but we will be getting one today, and we certainly enjoyed. We had lots of fun yesterday with Obi talking about other market. Now we're going to get Neil and his lesson of the day. So always an exciting time on this channel. Also, just because I've seen a little bit of it, some people asking if I'm sick. I am not sick. Sharif and I were talking about this off camera.
Yeah.
I have a thing where my throat just decides to die sometimes. Aww. It's just kind of like, you know, having an off day, and it usually lasts a couple weeks too. So we're gonna see how this goes. Lots of tea. Thank you so much to Sharif for bringing me tea at the big desk. But yeah, I just wanted to address the throat situation. I hope you feel better. They're not sick, just a little scratchy. Also, this Tesla coming into that 9 EMA bounce for a long. This looks kind of tasty. I think I might get involved here. AMD looking like it's gonna probably shake out in a bad way for me. How are you doing here in your trade?
I'm looking at a Coinbase long here. Call me crazy, but the Bitcoin is on its way up again through 62. So it's yeah, I don't know. I'm watching. I don't have any trades right now. I'll get to do a little bit of chart analysis once Neil comes on the mic and starts dropping hot lines. I feel like I really missed 17.9. I'm very disappointed in myself for not having noticed that. I should have alerts out there for these levels before I start the show. It is kind of hard to look at the chat, you know, trade, do the lesson, and watch everything at the same time. It is a bit difficult, and therefore you kind of need some tools to help you out. So it's on me for missing that, but we're going to look for the next trade. Sidhu, though, I want to talk about that because I have a dip trade set up here, and this is going without me. So yet again, I tried to be a bit more frugal to try to get a better cost basis, I had my order sitting at 805 with the idea that the former area of resistance, being that $8 area, would come into support, and it did actually work out. But it dipped to 812, not 805. So rather than just get the fill and give up a few pennies, I want to be frugal for whatever reason, and this is going without me. There goes 9, and there goes 9 1/3. Here comes 9.5 on this. Where the halt levels are, we don't know, but this is absolutely pumping up now, 67%. It's a former runner. If you've looked at the daily chart on this bad boy, so this is going to go. It was going in January. It was going before as well. They did about a 100-to-1 split in the latter part of 2023 to come into compliance with the NASDAQ, and that sent this pumping up again. It's held $4 since that time. So Sidhu having a fantastic day today. Let's see if we can get to 10 bucks. That's a level that I earmarked as a key area of resistance on the daily chart on SIDU. Feeling awfully silly, man. Miss 17.9, miss Sidhu. It's all good. We're green on the day. And you know, you're always like angry as a trader, though. I mean,
yeah, honestly, like that was one of the biggest things. You said that to me yesterday, and I felt that because I was in that Tesla short, and I was like, I didn't take enough shares, but it went well. So it's like, you know, as Sharif says, you're always angry as a trader. I'm trying to be less angry as a trader, but just trying also to embrace the fact that you will be angry. It's a weird fine line. Mr. Mems just said it really well in the chat. I don't know if it's Mr. Memes or Mr. Mems. Let me know. But either way, great name, and thank you very much for your activity in the chat. Saying that doesn't it always sucks when it leaves without you? Hashtag next trade.
Right.
You know,
absolutely right.
I really like that. I think it's
absolutely
pretty succinct. Right. Summarizes a little bit of how I'm feeling right now as AMD has decided to leave with me in the wrong direction. So we're going to have to hop out of the AMD. Shout out to, of course, Sharif for that lovely moniker for this stock. It sounds a bit sarcastic, I feel, but I really do enjoy that name. AMD and AMC. AMC had earnings as well. So.
Yeah, and Neil was, he looked at AMC earlier on today, I believe, right? Neil, were you involved in AMC? Yeah, no, he wasn't. My mistake, yeah. Brendo and I had like a little competition. We're like the first person to mention AMC today, right?
Really?
Yeah, we were trying not to mention it, even though it had earnings.
That's so funny.
I don't want to mention AMC.
Well, I was saying to Sharif, I will be so excited for the day that we stop seeing Taylor Swift's name in earnings reports.
Yeah, and how did they lose money on Taylor Swift concert and Beyonce's concert? How do you lose money on that? Like the distribution costs. Get it together, bro. Because all the fans already watched it. Yeah, they all paid $1,000+ to watch it in concert live. There goes Sidhu. Look at this Chilean nightmare. This is a fantastic look here. This is on its way to 10 bucks, baby. On 980 high right now on SIDU. Lots of strength on this name. Very, very upset that we didn't have this trade, but it is continuing to go. We're going to have to wait for this one to come into a key support level before we get involved, but fantastic look on Sidhu on the day. Mara back up, says Mahmoud. All right, let's have a look at MARA. We're going to get rid of ENVB here because it dipped below VWAP, and then, well, it's not tradable for me at this point. So yeah, up into 26 bucks. Good call. Keep your eye out at 26 or this general area here. Look at how we based out, and we were using this 26 1/3, 26 1/4 as an area of support off which we were bouncing, and then we gave up the ghost here at around 11:15. Does this area now flip and act as resistance? Let's watch. If you're looking for a move back up on Mara, VWAP in and around that 27 2/3, 27 1/4. So you could be looking for a possible retracement into that key resistance level, but we're going to have to get above the whole dollar first. Mara down big on the day. As a result of this headline that came in midday. It wasn't even as a result of earnings. It was the offering that they are that they decided to throw out midday there. Marathon Digital Files mixed shelf offering, and they didn't tell us exactly how much the amount is going to be. This prospectus is not an offer to sell securities, or so they say. So we'll continue to watch there. What's your look?
Oh, pardon?
What's your look?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I feel like I missed something. I apologize. Yeah, my look is Tesla is getting incredibly interesting to me. I talked about liking that 9 EMA bounce, and look what we're doing at the 9 EMA. We're bouncing. I'm getting really excited here. I like the look of this. Someone said something really that I really liked here in the chat about finding new opportunities, and I can't. Oh, here we go. Forest Builder X. regardless of what happens, your favorite trade should always be the next one, winky face. I agree, no winky face needed, no innuendo needed. This is just a straight up fact. And I think it's a really, thank you so much for saying that, because I think it's a really good point as well. And honestly, something that I need to keep in mind here too. And with that in mind, we're bouncing up the 90 EMA. I'm going to get involved in this. But for now, though, we are going to be getting involved in watching Neil's lesson of the day with our pal, Neil, right over here, guys.
Welcome to the lesson of the day. Do not let an anchor weigh down your P&L and weigh down your trading. I want to talk about anchoring today, one of the worst and most difficult cognitive biases to have to overcome, not just in trading, in life. It probably affects everybody. You just don't realize it if you're not familiar with it. So, hey, what is anchoring? It seems as if there's a million definitions for it, but in the trading sense, it comes down to one basic principle. It's that an initial point of data, an initial reference point, it can be a price, it can be an economic indicator, whatever it might be. It could be a line on a chart. It's that initial piece of data causes you to then look at all information after that with respect to that piece of data, whether or not you should. And what will happen is you become fixated on that initial price. Maybe it's the first price you traded a stock. Maybe it's the price it was looking at when it sat down. Maybe it's a price that it was trading the last time it had earnings, whatever it might be. And then you see all of your decisions and everything after that through the lens of that initial data point. Now, why can that be trouble? It's troubling because it can cause you to skew away from more important information that comes after that fact. If you become anchored to an initial price, an initial idea, you're going to end up not only missing out on opportunities if a stock is trending, because you might get anchored to a bid that you thought was going to be the bottom. You might also end up just getting flat out anchored towards a direction because you can't let go of one of those reference prices. So I'm going to give you an example here of something that affected me this morning here on AMD. And it's the worst thing you can do, we always talk about this, is trading against the trend, right? If you're not going with the trend, you're going to put yourself in a bit of danger. There's no question about that. I think everyone can understand that concept. However, the last few days on AMD had a very, very clear level that was absolutely gold. It was underneath the 179. You can see for 4 days in a row, you had a big short day with shorter highs failing around 79, failing, making another top, and then a lower high in there. Hey, you know, the 179 is a good short. So every single day that it gets into that price, it gets to that price, and you're thinking, okay, I want to look for the short opportunity on an AMD. You're anchored to that price. So what ends up happening, and you guys can obviously tell in hindsight that if you break a resistance zone, you're now breaking out and going higher, right? Like, that's easy to say. At 8:30, I had an economic number come out that immediately put the short on in that price for me. It ends up stopping out a couple of times, one successful pullback in there in the mix, but really nothing better than 70 cents to a buck when the move up had been $4. So really, it wasn't even that good of a pullback at any point. Once it broke away from there, I was anchored to the 79. So I was like, 79's the level, you short down there, short 78, short 78 half. When it broke away from 179 and started accelerating, when the market opened up here, you're breaking 180. At that point, I'm thinking, previous resistance, it turns into your support level. You can't be long unless I'm long down there. That's where you got to have that long off of. So I would not consider flipping because as far as I was concerned, it was trading too far away from the breakout price. Now the problem with that is, what happened when we had economic data? You had jobs data, you had inflation data. The market shot, the market held higher, the market broke. If you were simply looking at a normal trading pattern and not enamored with my first entry and first fill price, you'd say to yourself, nothing about that stopped being a long break. And even when it got to the next resistance, the 52-week high came and I tried shorting that as well. Okay, fine, it ended up working the second time, but that doesn't matter. The point is I was staring a clean uptrend in the face but I was anchored to an original price that I was never going to get to trade again. I was never going to be able to long off that level because I just simply was not going to be able to recreate that in the past. So, it's not just about whether anchoring is going to cause you to lose on a trade. It's going to happen at times. It can cause you to miss an obvious sort of reverse zone. Bias is one thing, liking the short, but if you get anchored to a really key price level, you'll find yourself, when it trades away from it, missing other opportunities. And sometimes missing other opportunities is a bigger deal than taking a hit, because hits are a part of the ball game. I was looking short off 79. I was going to lose on that trade. There's no questions about it. They came into that price, the stock decided to go higher. You cannot do anything with that. And the other thing that can happen when you get anchored to prices is you start trying to get a little bit too fancy with your trading. And I'll give you another example here of CRM. CRM in our morning show, anyone would have heard me say, once it holds 300 at the open, I'm going to be looking for long trades. Okay. So I was enamored with way too many chip names. You can see very clearly it tries to hold 300, can't do it. Tries to hold a consolidation that immediately starts falling back under. This is where it holds the $300 level. So 300 is a round number that happened to be on light volume in pre-market, a bit of a pivot spot, resistance, and then a breakout. And it's a nice round number that psychologically is a big one. But the actual hold over 300 occurred bouncing off 301 and breaking back out 302.5. So in this particular case, anchoring brain says, well, you can't go long at 302.5, 303. You like 300. That is not a relevant point. It's just a number. What you're looking for is strength or weakness and direction for the stock. When you get anchored to a number, you then don't pull a trigger on a trade because you're not getting long at 301. I'm not getting long at 300.5. I'm not getting long at 301.5. I'd have to be taking the long at 303. But what difference does it make whether I'm taking a 303 long and giving it to 301, or I'm taking a 301 long and giving it to 299.5. Whatever it works out to, it's about the same thing. It's the trade that's in front of you. But if you start getting fixated on the number and the price, you miss the pattern of the trade, which is more important. Trades are about setups. And the setup can happen regardless of the number that you happen to be staring at on a chart. And I do this all the time. That's why I want to bring this one up, because it is a difficult one to get away from. You ever wonder why when you're in fantasy football, some guy's never going to give you an offer? He's going to wait for you to give him an offer first because he wants to anchor you to some ridiculous price that you initially put out there so that they can take advantage. Put it in your head, and then he's going to start messing with you based off the first thing that you had in your mind. Because when we pick a point, our brains are going to want to be fixated on that point that we initially picked on. And if you cannot get away from that as a trader, when the market gets away from it, you're going to miss opportunities, you're going to average into losers, and you're going to miss lots of trading P&L to the upside, both by losing where you shouldn't and by missing trades where you should be joining that trend. So the real deal is you've got to avoid anchoring. It is a horrible cognitive bias that every single person at some point in their life you're going to fall for it. As a trader, all you can do is spot it. And the good news is it's usually just about a number on a chart that you're fixated on, either a round number price, a line on a chart, or an initial price entry that you might have had on a trade. So you have to be able to step back, reassess it based on the pattern and information you're seeing in front of you. Don't anchor. That's a horrible cognitive bias, and if you want to get rid of it, you've got to be diligent and patient. As always, that's the real deal in your lesson of the day. Avoid anchoring.
Thank you very much, Neil. Informative and eloquent as always. And the chat really responding well to that, as they do typically every day, Dara. Thank you very much again for that, Neil. All right, let's bring in the lesson. We'll go our second time around. Today we are talking about the random walk hypothesis, baby. If I can just set up my, there we go. Have you ever used this do not disturb feature on the
I have.
iPhone?
It's good. And then you can just, I've accidentally turned it on a couple times as well, which is how I discovered it, because I was like, why am I not getting notifications?
Yeah,
but yeah,
it's really
it actually
annoying.
works. You should just use it.
Yeah, it is. I can't stand when people message me when I'm on the show, and like everyone knows I'm on the show at this time, and I don't understand why people are messaging me. Frustrated. All right, let's talk a little bit about the random walk hypothesis, RWH for short. It's a theory that challenges your ability, or a trader's ability, or anybody's ability to predict the market and potentially influence your investment decisions and trading decisions, of course. So what exactly is it here? It basically is a theory that suggests that stock prices follow a random walk, meaning that their changes are unpredictable and independent of past price movements. Again, we're going to use this example. Imagine a drunkard taking a random walk. Their path is erratic with no clear pattern. They're just walking about trying to, not even trying to do anything. Similarly, RWH posits that past trends or price movements cannot be used to direct future price forecasts, and so essentially it's futile to do that according to this theory. And here is basically what the assumptions of random walk theory are: that the price of equities or the price of any instrument is random, unpredictable, and variable, which causes random price movements. There's no pattern in randomness. The past is an unreliable gauge in projecting the future. History does not repeat itself according to this theory, and attempting to outperform the market requires taking significant, unjustifiable risks according to this theory. I don't happen to agree with the majority of that, but this is the exchange of ideas, and it's the beauty, the exchange of ideas, that we can formulate new ideas, right? So why does it matter? This theory has three significant implications for our purposes. One is that technical analysis is bupkis. It doesn't work according to this theory. If price movements are random, analyzing price charts and using all these various indicators will be futile in the opinion of the author of this theory. And the market timing, implications with respect to market timing. Trying to buy low and sell high based on market predictions becomes pointless, because according to RWH, prices move willy-nilly. And there's also implications with respect to market efficiency, or lack thereof. RWH implies the market is an efficient mechanism, meaning all relevant information is already discounted or reflected in the prices. So uncovering hidden gems through fundamental analysis or technical analysis or whatever method you want to use, again, might be difficult or entirely futile according to this theory. So some of the implications that it's going to have on your investments, on your trading decisions, it's basically RWH is suggesting that beating the market consistently is a difficult, tall task. Proponents argue that the best strategy is what they call passive investing, meaning you buy and hold low-cost index funds that track the entire market. They're not even suggesting that you buy sector ETFs, like, the SMH or whatever else. No, they want you to buy low-cost index funds that track the entire market according, again, to this theory. This approach assumes you cannot outperform the market and that aims to match the average return of the market over time, all right? And so that is what this whole thing is here. And some background and context on this theory. So some other theories, the idea that asset prices are random and unpredictable is also the key assumption of the efficient market hypothesis, which we'll be talking about tomorrow. RWT also aligns with the semi-strong efficient hypothesis, which argues that it's impossible to consistently outperform the market. There's also the Burton Malkiel? I can't.
Malkiel?
Malkiel, thank you. There's also the Burton-Malkiel theory as well, which RWT was popularized by this individual, Burton Malkiel, in his 1973 book, The Random Walk Down Wall Street, in which he argues, amongst other things, that investors are better served by buying and holding the broad index funds, which we just finished saying. All right? However, random walk hypothesis is not without its critics and detractors. So the first thing is, the detractors say the market's not fully efficient. There is an element of inefficiency in all markets. And as a result, they argued that it's not perfectly efficient, allowing what they call savvy investors to exploit short-term inefficiencies within those markets. That's not taken account of in random walk hypothesis. There's also the behavioral biases of humans, and by extension of that, traders. The randomness of individualized investors and traders' behavior might create opportunities for the skilled investors or traders to capitalize on these natural human biases that exist. And then the detractors also point to the oversimplification of the theory. And some argue that it's, way overly simplistic because it ignores how the market participants' behavior, like buying, selling, etc., can impact the prices and outcomes of a stock just by virtue of their participation in it. So it's good to know that there's people, like-minded people like myself, that don't agree with this theory. With respect to what you should do as an investor, as a trader, you should make sure to do your research, educate yourself on all the different market philosophies, and that's why we're talking all week about market theories. Make sure you understand your risk tolerance specific to yourself. Balance the risk and return based on your individual circumstances, and make sure, if you don't feel comfortable, to seek professional advice. Adira has talked about her financial advisor and how she's going to give him advice later on because she's going to exceed his abilities. I personally don't have a financial advisor either, but my old man does, and he won't listen to me at all about anything. He just wants low risk. He thinks he's taking his money on the other side. That's not going to happen, bro. It's going to stay here, right? Like, spend a little bit. All right. What's the look over there?
Pretty funny. I just wanted to say something as well. So I think, I'm seeing a lot in the chat, people not agreeing with the theory. That's okay. It is a theory that is, it's not like the theory itself is not a random walk. I'll put it that way, right? Like, I think even, like I said, when I was first learning about the markets, when I got here doing business courses, this is one thing that I heard said a lot. Even if it's not necessarily, there's a lot, usually with theories, there's going to be a lot of different ones. You're not going to necessarily ascribe to all of them, right? There's also, sorry, my mic. Thank you, Fabian, never mean. I apologize there. But yeah, basically the whole idea too is that with fundamental versus technical analysis, right? I know Sharif and I have talked about this a little bit, where Sharif is very much more of a technical analysis, and his friend Albert, who did make some lovely appearances on the show, is more of a fundamental analyst, right?
Yeah, he's a fundamental guy.
Exactly, right? So I think basically what I'm trying to say here is it's one theory, and it does, even if it doesn't necessarily seem super important or super valid for today's markets, there's always a reason that these theories exist and something to come from, and they're worth knowing even from a historical perspective, or just to understand the whole concept of the market, especially with this week being Market Theories Week. Also, as well, someone, Pillsbury saying here too, which I appreciate, I don't subscribe to this theory either, but it's always something to keep in the back of your head, that the market can go any which way it wants. And I think certainly the market proving that to be the case today, transition it back out of the lesson. This Tesla situation, wow. Okay, so I accidentally DCA'd in. Shocker, I had a fat finger move. No, I'm joking. But I do that quite a little bit here. We're gonna get out because we're getting below my point of entry here. But basically, the goal with this, actually no, we bounced, okay, I'll stay. The goal with this basically was to kind of take this, I said I like the whole concept of the long off the 9 EMA in the same way that we were initially shorting off the 9 EMA. We held this area really well initially, and so I wanted to be involved and kind of take this up and down the high side. So I liked this look. But we're gonna have to see if it holds up, and as of right now, it's not. So we're gonna have to make our exit from the Cybertruck at this moment. Nvidia kind of falling down here a little bit too off of VWAP. This actually might be a better look here, because we had that move into VWAP that I tried to short and then was a little too late to. Continuing to fall here, then we get back to VWAP, and then sellers are batting it back down. So if we get some kind of range in here, I'm gonna have to check this on the 3-minute. I think this could be an interesting trade for me. This is the type of movement that I usually like just these kind of get into the a certain area of resistance or support and taking it down into previous resistance or support, just kind of having a range that I can move around in. Microsoft, actually, although it has been, as Sharif alluded, it is kind of taking Apple's place as the dead one. Microsoft has had kind of a nice little movement here up into VWAP. The only thing that scares me here, though, is we've had lower highs and lower lows, and without really any exceptions. We also had the pseudo double top at 409.80 to keep in mind, so I'm going to be cognizant of that. Trying to see if there's any other ones. AMD, some people asking about AMD. Let's look at AMD. I tried to short this earlier just because we had that rejection off the 9 EMA. We were holding that 186 level pretty well in terms of trying to break to the downside. We had lower highs, and the market said, no, I'm actually going to go up. And I said, okay, AMD, do your thing, 21. Got out. Congrats, though, to anybody. I know Odyssey fights in this long. I believe Lolo in the chat also in this one. Great look here for AMD. And this VWAP bounce also, you know, I should have been looking at, look at this candle in the 3-minute. Talk about buyers overwhelming sellers. We have this move to the downside and it gets eaten right back up. It's the opposite of a top and tail candle, continuing to move to the upside here. Only 2 red candles that I'm seeing. Congrats to anybody involved in this. Really good look. All I have to say here too is I like as well that we made a higher high. Actually, I really like this. I'm gonna draw this. I think that we eclipsed that earlier high, especially after all these lower highs, is a really good look, but we're also doing a little bit of consolidation in that 188 area. Maybe we could be continuing to break to the upside, especially with all this other move up, but I would be very cognizant of what we're doing at this 188.40 area. And actually, if this continues, this could actually be a spicy long for me, even just in a range play. So I'm gonna keep an eye on this, but I think AMD has been really strong. Dan Gilman saying, AMD, you know you have 190 in you. Odyssey Fights also talking about 190. Neil mentioned, I guess, as well earlier, 190. Yeah, I think, honestly, if we can, I think right now we really have that war with 188.50. I think if we can break above that, I think this could be a great day for AMD, just proving that the market can and will do what it wants. What a look here.
All right, short Apple 180. This is going to be a trade where I have, you know, not lofty targets, but very realistic ones, because there's clearly something going on here at 180 on AAPL where there's a lot of buying. There's a lot of volume taking place here, and we've shown you the daily chart. You know exactly what that 180 looks like on the daily. The fact that it's bounced off there so many times should give you an idea that there's likely institutional involvement. You know, the way I look at it is they have a huge share buyback program that you could turn on. You could turn on at that level if they feel that it's a, you know, it's a good price to buy back your shares at. So it could be Apple buying their own shares basically at this 180 level. We don't know. We'll see. I'm looking for a move down, maybe into that $0.50 level if we can get that again. The other reason I got involved in this trade as well is because we're kind of doing the wick shimmy dance on the future, but we're doing it from the south side of 18,000. So you guys have watched me trade the future before. You guys know that when we wick, the way I feel, when we wick up into that 100-point level, if we're wicking up and rejecting from the low side as opposed to bouncing off from the top side, typically means, you know, we may be setting up short at this level as sellers continue to overwhelm buyers at that particular level. If that's the case, I like Apple short. We're gonna have very, you know, realistic expectations on the move down. I've already set up my first beak wetter at that 85. We're printing like 92s right now. We'll see if we get that move down, and then maybe we'll look for that next profit taker at the $0.50 if we make it down to the $0.50. So not setting up lofty expectations at all, because I'm very cognizant of the fact that there's something afoot at that 180 level to the long side, because it's just being propped up here for whatever reason. So we'll keep an eye on that. So the Apple short 180. Oh, sorry, the stop on this one. I neglected to mention the stop, the break of $0.25. So if it breaks above that 180.25, that's my line in the sand. Now, somebody else was saying that SIDU, after making that power move up into 9 3/4 or 9 80, give or take, is setting up for another possible long. And I tend to agree, but I'm cautiously optimistic about another long. Now, the reason I'm still optimistic, number one, it's above VWAP, it's above the pre-market high, so all those check marks, great. Now, we are putting in a lower high at that 880 off that 980 rejection. However, we could be getting another higher low in anticipation of the next higher high, maybe at 10. Here's why I feel that way. So we're consecutively putting in higher lows. We still haven't put in a lower low. A lower low will come via an 820 break. So that's number one. Number two, we have this clear area of resistance right here initially that we rejected off that 840, 850, 860-ish area, give or take, that we're now bouncing off of. So this makes it look awfully good for a potential area of support. And you also have a line in the sand that you can say to yourself, well, if it breaks below this level, the trade is no longer valid and I'm out and I'll just I'll lick my wounds and I'll leave. And that level happens to be that 840, 8 1/3 general area, owing to this area over here, now bouncing off it. So if you're looking at setting up possibly something on SIDU, good look here. Boom, we print on that short on Apple. Please just punch on this trade. The Katina man is still holding this $100 ago. No, we're kidding, of course. $3, $2.50 in the money on the Apple short. Shout out to the Katina man. We're gonna wet our beak on some profits on this bad boy too. I'm looking ideally at Dara for that 179 2/3, 179 1/2-ish. We'll try to print on that.
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea. I love where you got in that too. You got in, as Neil says, on the back end and the bottom of that curl. It's a really nice look. And
my friend Neil.
Yeah, taking a bite out of the apple there, Crunch.
Yes.
As Fabian as well was saying, you know, and indulge in go in the wilderness, indulge in the apple, or whatever was said earlier as well. Thank you very much to our lovely production team. And we had also, I think it's already on Instagram too. I saw it. This the most recent short as well, the social media short. I love it. So this one was really fun. I like how you
sprayed the camera, and it was like, it's actually really funny.
I sprayed the Ram Cam.
Yeah, I know. And Ram was coming up with like all these different ideas of how we should like shun her. You know what I mean? And shun the whole social media team. It was Ram dropping hot lines on these ideas, by the way. We just executed what Ram instructed us to do.
Yeah.
So that's the look there, Darren.
Shout out, yeah. No, honestly, go check that out on our Instagram. But I thought that was really cool.
Dump it.
For sure. Yeah, dump it indeed. I want to get short the Qs here. Actually, so I said earlier that I had no successful trades. I forgot I actually did have a nice Q short here.
Okay.
So I took this, and honestly, I'm really happy with this point of entry because this is usually not how I end up getting it with point of entries. But I like that we had basically lower highs, tried to scalp it into that earlier base that we had, and we ended up not really I got out a little too early, clearly, but that's okay. We scalpulated it out a little bit. When I say scalpulate, I mean just having a plan in mind and then being willing to adapt should things get a little hairier, a little dicey, and you want to change up the move. Also, this 437.30 area is going to have to be where I say au revoir. I really don't want a higher high. I don't know, maybe I got involved in this a little bit too late because we already had that massive pop down into basically 70s. We're gonna see though, I'm happy with this trade for right now. Like I said, it's been a bit of a rough day for me. Oh, I didn't even realize I'm still in this Tesla. I had no idea I thought I punched out of the entirety of this Tesla long.
You didn't get out of the Cybertruck?
I did not get out of the Cybertruck.
Who's doing it to you now?
I had no idea. Yeah, he was trying to torture me with puns there. No, I'm joking. All good vibes here. Yeah, I'm gonna get out of this because I didn't realize. Take over? No, it's okay. I'm just punching out. But yeah, this is basically, clearly I am not on my A game today for trading. Trying to not do things like this, which is apparently accidentally staying in a trade for much longer than I meant to. Now it looks like I said, I was trying to go long off the 9 EMA, didn't scalp it well enough. If this short off the 9 EMA comes back into effect like what we saw earlier, this might be the better look. But either way, I was like, right now, Adara, this is like the opposite of a fat finger. It's like a skinny finger. I don't know. I didn't punch out the whole thing. I don't know what you call that. But yeah, there you go.
I think you'll appreciate Rich Law. Rich Law's comment in the chat.
Ram,
Graham. Not Ram chart anymore. It's Ram Graham. That's hilarious, dude. I like that. All right. The future, look, I was saying we're doing the wick shimmy dance below 18,000, excuse me, 17.8. Try 200 points higher than that, bro. No, for real though. We're doing all the wicks into 18,000 right now are rejecting, okay? Now, this is usually a nice setup for a short. In my experience, when you do that wick shimmy dance from the sell side, you get into 18,000, the sellers say, no, you don't, and they push you back down. It's fantastic. I'm not talking about it within the context of a futures trade. I'm talking about it within the context of this Apple trade. If we reclaim 18,000 on a closing basis and stop doing the wick shimmy dance from the sell side, I'm getting out of this Apple trade. I don't want to be holding Apple short while the market's above 18,000 and pumping towards highs. So I'm just putting that out there. If the market starts pumping here, breaks 18,000, I'm ending my short on AAPL. And especially if it holds, then we may start looking north on any, well, not any, but on the Mag 7 names. We'll see what's strongest at the moment. Down we go on Apple though. Beauty. Here comes that 179.70 area, we're going to be waiting at the half dollar. Okay, give or take a couple of pennies. We may sit in the low 60s or thereabouts, because the reason I say that and I retract my half dollar statement is look at this bottom over here. Ooh. How many times did we wick up off that 179.60? Kind of a random area. It's not even the half dollar. So I'm cognizant of this area. If we hold up at this area, I definitely don't want that smoke, but we'll see. We're continuing to print. We're about 30 pennies in the money on this name. And please punch. Let's see what we get. If we can get a bigger move down the half dollar, there into 69 as we go. Go down, Apple. I have a resting order on my personal account to buy this thing up at 175. So I want to see 175. I want to see 167 or thereabouts. I want to accumulate this name in anticipation of that June, what is it called? Developer conference?
Yeah.
Something like that. That's when the AI headlines likely to be dropped for AAPL. And then there's also this other analyst who was dropping hot lines on television yesterday, and he was putting this out there that the iPhone 16 may have the on-board capabilities to be able to do all the LLM stuff that we do on the cloud now. If that's the case, he's making the argument that we have a secular move for the iPhone 16 in the same way that we had for the iPhone 6 Plus. Remember the one that huge phone came out? The one that competed with Android? Prior to that, all the iPhones were small. They were smaller screened. That remains the best-selling iPhone ever, that 6 Plus model, or I think it was called the 6 Plus. And so he's saying if that, we get this AI-specific iPhone, that could end up being, one of the best-selling models as well. All this obviously is entirely speculative. None of this is confirmed in stone, but that's what we do here. We kind of take this information, we make educated assessments on what the information means and how to play it, this, that, and the other. You guys get it. I just want to give you the information, and then you guys do as you like. Jay Lee says, Apple long at 179.60, question mark, being the last spike bottom. Just finished talking about that, Jay. I literally just finished talking about it. I said that I'd probably be wetting my beak likely in the the low 60s, owing to this key area of support earlier. I don't know if I want to stand in front of that. So we'll see. Why Brothers United? Everyone love Ram now. Yeah, well, Ram is undefeated, bro. So, pretty much normal around here. What's your look over there, Adair?
Yeah, my look is pretty actually happy. I don't want to say pleased as punch yet, because I'm not pleased as punch yet. But I'm not displeased either with this Q short. Like I said, I was just trying to get it as we get kind of, as Neil says, get it on the back end. Okay. So I got it kind of as we curled down. I was going to be watching that 437.30 area. We didn't even get close. We wicked off that 437.20. I said,
peace out.
Smiled wide. Not going to peace out. I guess I said the opposite of peace out. I will stay. But yeah, I guess I said peace out to leaving. I'll put it that way. Yeah, there we go. But yeah, so I'm happy with the short right now. I have my initial beak wetter set for 81, so 436.81. Should we get there, a beak shall be dipped. Then I'm going to look at the 3-minute for some of my other areas here. So I'm interested in that. If we get to like 60s, 436.60, I just want to make sure I have a pace for the dream for that beautiful move down at 435.80. I'm not super patient, though. I'm going to be really honest, and I've always been really upfront about that. So we'll see. Hopefully I have enough patience. Hopefully I pack the patience, as Sharif says, for that move down, because I think if we get that move back down here, that could be tasty indeed. Basically, we've had this continued rejection of VWAP. We've had lower highs. We've had lower lows. I like the look of this. We're going to see if it comes to fruition, but hopefully this is going to end up working out here. That's the look here. Also, there's an interesting comment here that I find really interesting, and where is it in the chat? Someone was, here we go. Trader Forever saying, has Apple become the new Cisco? And that's interesting because we talked about this last week as well. I've seen quite a few tweets comparing Nvidia's rise over the past couple months to Cisco's rise leading up to the .com boom. Yeah. And honestly, the way their chart patterns are very similar. Random walk theory would scoff at us for saying this, but you know what I mean? Sometimes history, it doesn't necessarily repeat itself, but as you said, it echoes or it.
That rhymes,
It rhymes, there we go. That was the word. But yeah, so I think, thank you. But so I think the point I'm trying to make is I think to me, that is maybe a bit more of an interesting comparison than that Nvidia and Cisco comparison, just in terms of how those two have been moving.
They're not, like, I wouldn't make the comparison. Maybe the chart patterns may look similar to you in some way, and that makes sense, but the industries are just so different. I wouldn't be quick to draw a comparison. But I wanted to mention something. Now that we have a bit more of chill time, so we mentioned the Tesla Roadster yesterday, and we mentioned the 0 to 100 time, right? Under 1 second. What I didn't mention, though, was how it's going to achieve that 0 to 100 kilometers, not miles, in 1 second. So apparently, Adara, you've got to have something called the SpaceX pack. What is this SpaceX pack? It's just 10 rockets on the back of the car. They're supposed to be these cold ice. I wrote it to Randy, and I'm not kidding, by the way. You guys can Google this if you want. So here is exactly what it is called. It is called cold air thrusters. On the back of the car, 10 of them, and that's the only way to get it 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in less than 1 second. Randy thinks that there's no way that's going to be street legal.
It doesn't sound like it is.
I mean, Elon is not, I don't know if he makes it mass producible if it's not street legal. I think that's hilarious. I love it. And I want to see some rockets on my cars. I'm good with that. I'll tell you the truth.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I kind of get what, I kind of agree with Fabian saying it's just rocket boosters onto a car. But yeah, that's going to be insane. I didn't know about the rocket boosters.
Yeah, I'm not even kidding. It's called the SpaceX pack.
Here's my question.
Go.
I know you are a Cybertruck fan.
Yep.
Would you drive a Roadster?
Yes, if I had enough money to have both. It's always been my dream to have an SUV and a convertible.
Okay.
Right? I don't have enough money to do it.
That would give you that.
Yes, exactly. I would have I would get the Cybertruck and I would get the convertible. I love convertibles. Well, I'm an air sign, so it makes sense that, you like the air. Convertible, you like that?
I like that. I like a good pun.
I'm going to get trolled in the chat now. Someone was saying short astrology earlier, which I was like, yeah, okay, whatever.
I think astrology must, like, all the theories we're talking about, much like people would argue a lot of analysis, it's like, take what you want from it.
Right.
It's there to kind of help inform you, and I think it can be interesting, and it can, especially personality-wise, it can maybe give you a little bit of insight. If you don't like it, it's not for you.
No.
And same with, you know what I mean? Like, people do like it. I honestly am kind of neutral to it, but I think it can be kind of interesting.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's talk a little trading now. We're still doing the same thing here with the future that we were doing earlier. We're still south of 18,000 though. We're accumulating at that level. If we get a decided break, that's going to be my line in the sand for AAPL. I'm already lamenting a little bit not having taken it out in the low 60s over here because on its way up now back to the low 80s. We'll see if this one can continue to stair step down. Maybe I just need a bit more patience on the day. But you know what is setting up for a nice little move back up here is this Meta. So did we take a double bottom on Meta? What was it that we took a double bottom on yesterday? I forget. Anyway, that's fine. You can concentrate.
It might have been Meta.
It might have been, right? That 482 2/3 got bought up aggressively. Now we're above pivots again, and we're kind of consolidating south of this 50 period. All the pops into the 50 period here on Meta are getting rejected, and this owes to not just the 50 period, but look at this consolidation area low that we had earlier on, 487. We kept defending and bouncing off that 487 level. Well, lo and behold, once 487 gave up the ghost and we came back up to it, now we're actually finding it as a level of resistance. So something possibly to be had here for the shorts on META at 487 or thereabouts, especially if the future is to reject that 18,000 and send some of these Mag 7 names back down. Again, we'll have to wait and see what we get there. Let's check the, let's check the small cap gappers. Anything going on here? Adil now below that VWAP area, no longer interesting for me. And the same goes for ENVB. We said we would not let this one off the hook. We took 2 trades on it, both profitable, but that's going to be the end of it for me with ENVB. On the long side, that is, because it is now trading below VWAP and below that $2 level. It's got to be above VWAP for me to take it long. I'm talking about small cap gappers only. I'm not talking about that with respect to large caps. Now, SIDU. SIDU is interesting here. So we had that 980, 979 technically top, and then look where it is now, $8 and VWAP. So you got both those areas of possible support, the whole dollar level and you have the volume weighted average price hanging out here. This is an interesting area to get long. It's awfully volatile though, and I want to mention something else. When we talked that week about how to manage risk and where to place your stops, one thing that I said was, look at the range of the candle on the instrument that you're trading. If each 5-minute candle or whatever time frame you're trading on has a wide range, that has to influence your stop. So all I see here is topping tail candles. It didn't matter whether it was in the pre-market or after the bell. There's a whole lot of topping tail candles here. So the range per candle is wide for the name. So what does that mean? That means if I give it to $8, I've got to give it a bit more than I typically would for the regular small cap capper, right? Because it's a rangy small cap gapper. So we'll have to wait and see here. I like the fact that it put in this doji candle as well at VWAP at $8. This one could start curling here, but let's wait to get it on the back end, as my friend Neil likes to say. Prove to me that you're going to put a couple of green candles to the high side, and then maybe we'll get long. What's up? You guys were saying something? Okay, you guys were talking in my ear. I thought, no, it's all good. I just thought you guys had something to say, that's all. So Katina, man, he's like, how dare you, Fabian? So yeah, anyway, I'm gonna be looking at Sidhu here. And the thing is, you could look at this level and you could say to yourself, well, look, I got that 790 bottom. Let me get long here, 816, 815, 810, whatever, and give myself to the low. So break 790, put your stop at 788, 787, whatever. Here it goes. It's breaking away from 8, man. This is already 25 pennies in the money off this $8 level. SIDU holding up at this level. Good look here. Let's see what it does.
Yeah, no, I think I appreciate what you said too about giving yourself some more wiggle room for the stops on the stocks that move like this, because that's what I've been trying to do with when I trade my Teslas and my Nvidias, the ones that tend to move a little bit with a little bit more fire, bamboozlement, bewilderment, right? So that totally makes sense. I think it's something really you have to, we talked about this as well with risk management. You have to adopt your stops to A, your level of comfort, but B, also acknowledging how the stock moves. And so I think that's really key, and I think, yeah, really good point there as well. And something I'm trying to learn from too.
Fair.
So yeah, the Qs, nothing to report. We are making slightly higher lows though, which has me kind of concerned. I honestly am just gonna try to get everything out just around this 437, because that's the one area I know we can get to. And then I don't have to worry about this anymore, because it's getting slightly dicey, and I just don't really like what I'm seeing take shape here. This Nvidia, I have to say though, I was really proud of this Nvidia short. You got this right off. I was noticing lower highs, and I was noticing as well we were holding around the 789 area that Sharif also identified earlier as a pseudo area of support resistance. We had lots of nice resistance building up here right into the pre-market. Then we come back again and we hit support.
I'm just, look.
Oh, you just, oh,
yeah, don't worry about me. When I get upset, just ignore me.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. But yeah, so basically, yeah, Sharif totally called this level here. Now we come back to 789 and it becomes such an area of support. So I took this short, and I'm really, really happy with where it happened. We just basically got it right to the bottom of the range. Now we're curling back up in the range. I'm not gonna go long this range because the Nvidia long right now is just not, you know what I mean? We're seeing lower highs. We're seeing that flat bottom. I don't really want to get involved, but every time we come back into here, I'm going to try to whack-a-mole smack it back to the downside. If we make a higher high, I'm going to be out. That's really the thesis of this trade. So I like that look here. I have to get out of the Qs though, because they curled back up, and that is not what I want indeed. So we're going to deal with that here. I'm trying to get out of these. There we go. We're out of the Qs. Also, yeah, Jay Lee pointing out short the TQQQ instead of the QQQ for some better percentage moves. I've heard, I know Sean will, as he put it earlier today, that I enjoyed the TQs. I know Sean will trade the TQQQs. Yeah. I think for me, I'm a little bit, I need to get a little bit more comfortable, I think, trading before I get into more of these highly levered names. But I do really appreciate the perspective there, and I always appreciate different advice and perspective. Pardon?
DWAC is tanking, guys. DWAC is down 10.5%, and I don't have a headline.
Oh, Neil does.
Trump media co-founder sue company alleging a scheme to dilute shares. I don't have it on my news blotter. Neil's got it. DWAC is on the way down, 11.25% now. It started its life at $45 or thereabouts, closed at 45.25 yesterday. It is now on the way down to 40, and 40 is going to break right here. We got some not big size, at the whole dollar level. And there it goes. DWAC is on the way down, 12% now. Big move down right now for Digital World Acquisition Corp after the Trump man, the orange man yesterday, won yet another primary. What was it yesterday? Which primary was it?
I know. I don't even know.
Was it a primary yesterday or was that the day before? Michigan. With Michigan, that's right. Yeah, that was the day before. That wasn't yesterday. Biden also won his primary there, so you know we're gonna have these catalysts, let's say, for the funware, the DWAC, everything like that. From now, I guess maybe until November, until the election. Anyway, this is on the way down. It's about to break 39, guys. We just broke 40, and here comes 39 on the chart, guys. There goes 39. We're on the way down here, big time on DWAC now, about 14% to the south side. It's spready though, guys. About 15, 20 pennies at times, 17 pennies right now. I saw 27 earlier. Anyway, DWAC on the way down. Make sure you are keeping an eye on that. But there goes the future. The future is at 18,000, and now we're going to have to keep an eye on our Apple trade here at Dara, as if the future breaks above 18,000, might be trouble for me.
Yeah, I had to hop out of those queues because I was short the queues, and it was not. We got a little bit higher. I had to leave. Also, though, this Tesla long, I don't know. Again, Tesla, not a huge sense of direction here. We cannot break this high. However, I do like this idea of going long off that 200 and taking $200.30. Really small scalp, but again, that's the type of trade I'm more comfortable with. I like the ranges. I like things that are moving a little bit more in a way that, as Sharif sometimes says, the dead one. Those are the types of names I kind of like getting involved in. So Tesla giving me a little bit of that. Nvidia still also working within that range I like of basically $1 at this point. That's 790 to 789. So if we kind of continue to reject off that area, I'm going to get back in. I'm going to hop in. Some other people as well. Papa Powell, I can't believe Papa Powell's in the chat, saying DWAC offering. I'm not seeing any news on that.
Neither am I.
Yeah, we're gonna wait and see here. We're gonna make sure we have confirmation. We're saying the right stuff, but I just did want to acknowledge that that was being said right now. Also, I'm not getting short Nvidia right now, even though we're at that 790, because I feel like we could be curling up a little bit, especially with that curl on the future. Also, I can't believe I said the future. Oh my God, I'm learning.
Like it.
Right? Also, I want to shout out our lovely sponsors here from Benzinga. If we're looking for this DWAC news, if we're looking for any news, this is where we go, and it comes right away. Sean uses this on his Market Recap show. Shout out to the Market Recap show. But yeah, we are brought to you by Benzinga Pro, and you can actually sign up today for 50% off their premier news and research platform for retail traders. Just use the code TTV, capital letters. That is TTV, capital letters. Use the link in the description to go to checkout. So that is that's the situation there for Benzinga, and yeah, much appreciated. Great resource, and honestly, super helpful. As you know, I'm the big desk, etc. How's it going over here?
Oh, what's going on?
There he is. That doesn't hit the like and subscribe.
Wrong one. That face at the end, I love it.
The Mr. T face?
There he is. Got the orange glasses and all, sir. Looking slick. All right. We're above 18,000.
For a second, I thought it was October.
I'm probably going to get out of this. Yeah, I know. It definitely was not October.
It was Downtober.
It was Downtober.
It was Upvember. November to remember, as you were
Adara, we're breaking up above 18,000 here decidedly. I'm flattening out my Apple trade here. I don't know. I think that we hold above 18,000 here. Here comes the future. We were consolidating. We did this kind of flat top look with higher lows through the future. Now we're breaking through pivots. Let's see now if we hold 18,000 on the eventual retracement that we're going to get. So some strength earlier on, as you can see here on the left side of the chart. That was due to the PCE number that came in below expectations, and the revision from last month with respect to the PCE print had this market sending it north. We then gave up the ghost at 18,000, but we did hold yesterday's close. Look at that, 17,916. We hold that level, and looks like we may be attempting number 2 here on 18,000 and try and hold that. You got Softy pop up there through 408 on its way into 409. Some strength coming in on Microsoft breaking through VWAP. So Adair and I were joking earlier in the show that Softy was a dead one today. Well, it just woke up from its nap, baby. Breaking through that VWAP at 408.5. Now looking to take 409. We're going to keep an eye on that, as well as Google. Google holds yesterday's close to the T. 136.40 is the low day, and we closed out at 136.38 yesterday. So 2 pennies above yesterday's close. Take that, random walk theory. Yeah, right? Exactly. At that level, fantastic 137.5. I know you weren't talking to me. I know you weren't. Did you really? Oh, random walk theory? It says that price movement is random, Katina, man. Do you think the price movement is random, or do you think that there are key support and resistance levels that we can use? He's supply and demand. Do you think support and resistance has anything to do with Yes. Thank you. Yeah, exactly. That's all he trades. He's trading constantly off support and resistance. And I'm pleased as dang punch that I got out of my Apple short when I did. There it goes through 180, and it's probably gonna, well, we'll see what it does here. This at 180.30. Good timing by me. I'm gonna give myself a little pat on the back there for getting out of it, because I'm happy. I didn't let this go against me, because we were trying to, take the $0.50. It didn't give us the $0.50, so whatever. We're gonna get out of the trade, but I'm not gonna let Apple off the hook. At that 181, let's say 180.90 general area, that's where VWAP is. I definitely want to take another shot at Apple. If it makes its way up back into VWAP, we'll be looking to get short a little bit there.
And take another bite out of Apple. Also, I love where you got out on that. Like, congrats on that trade. That's
Thank
a really nice trade.
I would have liked to have a little bit better of a price, because I could have gotten out here in the mid 60s. I didn't, because I was gunning for that 50 area. And I was concerned the entire time, Adara, about that 18,000 on the NQ, and the 18,000 has gone. We're on our way to 18,000 and a quarter now.
Yeah, I'm
long on Tesla.
Oh, yes, I am. Thank you. Yeah, so basically, some people are asking about Tesla. Thank you so much for all of the buttons. Much appreciated. Yeah, I want to talk about my thesis on this, because there's a little bit of a method to my madness sometimes. No, I'm joking. We try. So basically what happens here is we had this pseudo ceiling here of 230. What I was trying to do was I got long off the 200, exactly at 200 actually, because I liked where we'd have these 200, and then we have these little pops in and fail it. I tried to go long this earlier, but it was not scalping enough, and then also I accidentally added the position, then forgot I still had some of the position. So basically, a fat finger, or as ALX said in the chat, a gnarled finger all around here for that trade. However, then this range came back in, and we had that move up in the NQ, and I said, you know what, Adara, this is the time to try this trade again. And I think it's worked out thus far. We're gonna have to see how it goes. I took out part of the position here at that 230, and if we get back to 200 and hold, I might add. But I like the way that we're caressing, we're dancing with, we're neck and neck with this 9 EMA. I wanna keep a piece here, and honestly, that 201 area I'd like to be out by, because look at that double bottom. Support can become resistance. It often does. And I do not want to have anything else going on here. By the time I get to 201, that needs to be gone from that position. Also though, Nvidia, I wish I had taken that long when we broke above 790, because I was liking the short from 790 to 789. Should have taken the long when we broke above 790, because we did so with the viciousness. But now we are rejecting intensely off of that VWAP. Oh my gosh. And this is not the first time. We keep rejecting off VWAP. We were bouncing off of VWAP earlier. Now we're rejecting. And with this swiftness too, given that that's not really what we're seeing with the NQ in general, a little bit of a move down, but not certainly to the extent that we had this big move down on Nvidia. If we come back into that range, that could be a short. I really should have been watching this for a short off of VWAP. That was a little short-sighted of me, pun actually not intended. It was pretty myopic. But I do think that this is an interesting look. I will see though, if we make a higher low, I think that this could actually be a break up above. If we come back down here, if we make a lower low, I think Nvidia just does not want to break above VWAP. I kind of need to wait and see what happens before I make any, before I commit to anything here. So that's the look here on Nvidia. Some mentions here of AMD as well, because AM, darn, what a move to the upside. This one keeps bouncing off the 9 EMA. Actually, I would be interested in getting involved in this if there's a little bit more range to this. So right now our high is 189.69. Some people in the chat saying, could 189 happen or 190 happen today? Honestly, we're about 30 cents off. We're continuing to see higher highs, higher lows. Could be a psychological level though, right? Because something that Opie said as well that I really took to heart is the idea that these $5 and $10 levels and denominations, they can sometimes be psychological levels. That really could be what's happening with AMD, because we are having a really hard time here with that 189.69. Now we're at 189.63. Basically, I'll say be patient. I would say, you know, have a plan. If we don't make that 190 right away, it could be an Nvidia 500 situation. And not a Nvidia 600 to 700, if you know what I mean. And by that, I mean we could see some unforeseen struggles breaking above this level. So we're gonna have to wait here on that AMD. And as I say, that AMD is like, Dara, why are you dissing me? I'm gonna get to 190 before you like stop talking. So good look at AMD, Tesla continuing to curl, Nvidia continuing to reject. I'm all smiles, trying to find some more points of interest, and we're probably gonna start the lesson pretty soon. How are you doing over here?
The question is though, are you as pleased as Punch?
With the Tesla trade, yeah. Well, as a day, honestly, not super pleased with myself, but really the biggest thing is to learn every day.
Absolutely.
One thing you said too is in trading, it's you either
win or
learn. I was going to say lose or learn, and I was like, no. But yeah, no, and I think honestly that's what I'm trying to do here. We had some rough times in Nvidia, but we brushed that dirt off our shoulders. Shout out to Jay-Z. We got back up, and we're ready to see what the market has to give us.
Is it Olivier Strahler, the guy who's talking about Sidhu? Is it Oliver or Olivier?
It looks like Olivier. I see an
Olivier,
extra eye.
right? Yeah. Just let me know if I'm saying it right, because he's talking about Sidhu, and right away, if he's trading small caps, he's aces in my book, baby. Because, well, and he's talking about this Sidhu pop there, because we were talking about this $8 level that we missed, popped up into that $8.70 area. Now it's doing the dance here with the $0.50. Let's see if this one stays up. I'm going to be keeping my eye here, possibly at that $8 level again. But it's putting in lower highs. Let's be real about it, right? We have sequentially lower highs, and to me, that is a bit of a tough look, because with these small cap gappers, I need to see higher highs and higher lows. Otherwise, it's a bit of a risk. Meta on its way up to 488. Now Meta's up 0.75 of a percentage point on the day. Nvidia is still number one in terms of percentage up on the day for these Mag 7 names, then followed by Amazon, and then Meta here. So Meta coming into 488. It was a great hold of that 482 area or thereabouts. It was really more of an 483 look. The futures pumping here, 18,025, and it's bringing Meta along with it. So we may have to bamboozle a trade here into Meta as we get into double eights. We also have resistance level 1 on the pivots coming in quite soon. I don't know how much that's going to play a part today in Meta's look. Initially, we did get a rejection off that on the PCE print. We rejected off resistance level 1, then we ended up breaking it at around 10 o'clock or so. So we'll see here. We're right at VWAP right now, right at the whole dollar. What does Meta do here? Keeping an eye on. Maybe we'll get another trade in this. Dara, did you want to start the lesson?
I do want to start the lesson. And the lesson today is random walk theory. And let me find the power. There's the PowerPoint. We have this wonderful look, and this is the diagram too that I've seen used a bit, like I said when I was learning about this. You have the little, it's like trying to chart a move that a man makes around a lamppost.
Guys,
this diagram, I know someone earlier was like, what's happening in this diagram? You have this man with this little bottle, and he's walking around this lamppost, and it's trying to chart what's happening around the lamppost. And if you're kind of confused by the path he's taking around this lamppost, that is actually the entire point of random walk hypothesis.
Right.
So let's get into the lesson here just to give it kind of a fun transition. So basically, the random walk hypothesis suggests that stock prices, much like that man in the drawing, follow a random walk, which means that their changes are going to be unpredictable and independent of past movements. So unlike technical analysis, we're talking about key levels. Random walk hypothesis is like, what key levels? Because the whole, a really example here that I've heard quite a lot with regards to this theory is, imagine you have a drunk person, or a drunkard, as is worded here, taking a random walk. Their path is going to be erratic with no clear direction or pattern. And just like this man or person who's walking around all willy-nilly, that is what RWH says the market does. Past trends or price movements cannot be used to predict or forecast future prices, says RWH. But why does this matter? Also, here's some more. Yeah, sorry, I got a little ahead of myself there. So here's some assumptions of the random walk theory. Random unpredictable variables will cause asset price movement, so there's no pattern in the randomness. The past is also unreliable in projecting the future, so history does not repeat itself. And attempting to outperform the market requires taking significant, unjustifiable risks. So basically they're saying, play it safe and just see what the market's doing. They also talk a lot about investing in broader funds, right? So indices instead of these individual stocks. But why does this matter? So there's a lot of implications for a lot of different aspects of what we know about the market. So we're just make that sound so dramatic, but kind of interesting to look at this theory, right? It basically implies that technical analysis doesn't work because if price movements are random, analyzing chart patterns to predict future trends is futile because there's going to be no point. Market timing. Trying to buy low and sell high based on market predictions will become pointless according to the RWH because there's going to be, nothing, right? There's no way to know if you're going to buy low or sell high because the market will do what it wants to do. Also, efficiency. So the RWH implies that the market is efficient. We're going to talk more about efficient market hypothesis tomorrow. Don't miss that.
Yes.
And it basically implies that all relevant information is already hidden and already reflected and baked into the prices. So uncovering hidden gems through fundamental analysis could be a little bit difficult, says this theory. So how does this impact investments? The RWH basically suggests that consistently beating the market is going to be pretty tricky. And people who believe in this theory will argue that the best strategy is passive investing. So buying and holding low-cost index funds that track the whole market. And this approach basically assumes you can't outperform the market and it aims to match its average return over time. A little behind there on the slides. That's okay. Next slide, background and context. So there's some other theories as well that you can look at in tandem and adjacent to and in addition to random walk hypothesis. These include efficient market hypothesis, which is we're going to be discussing a lot tomorrow on the how to trade. And also RWH will also align with the semi-strong efficient hypothesis, which argues that it's basically impossible to consistently outperform the market. So also worth noting that Burton Malkiel was the guy who popularized ride and walk hypothesis in his book in 1973, which was rather astutely called A Random Walk Down Wall Street. Basically, he argues, among other things, that investors are going to be better served by buying and holding a broad index fund, which is something we touched upon a little earlier as well. Now, however, the random walk hypothesis is not without criticism. There's a lot of criticism about market inefficiency. The idea that savvy investors are able to find short-term inefficiencies because the market isn't perfectly efficient. So there's ways to evade the system, if you will. Behavioral biases also are worth noting here. The randomness of individual investor behavior can create some opportunities for skilled investors to sneak in and capitalize on these biases. And last but not least, worth noting that this theory has been criticized for being a little bit overly simple. Some people argue that it's overly simplistic because it ignores how market participant behaviors like buying, selling, shorting, etc., can impact the prices and outcomes of a stock. Also worth noting as well, there are some critics of this theory that basically say it can't really necessarily be true because we have people who are really good at stock picking, like Warren Buffett, right, that show there can be some elements to fundamental analysis that are valid. So I thought that's something interesting to touch on as well here. Oh, that's the last slide. I kept pressing. But there are things we want to leave you with here on this lesson. There are some valuable things to keep in mind with regards to RWH, but you also have to do your research and make sure you are educated on different investment philosophies and strategies. You also want to understand your risk tolerance and make sure that you're balancing the risk and return based on your individual circumstances. And make sure to seek professional advice. Consult a financial advisor, maybe. That's something I do, and I've talked about, and Sheriff mentioned earlier as well, that I think is helpful for personalized guidance tailored to your goals. Also, worth noting that I really like John Szymanski saying, "Go Uncle Warren." Yeah, why not, right? Also, Tam Panda here with an interesting comment. By saying the market is efficient automatically implies there's also inefficiency, which needs to be corrected in order to remain efficient. Hi.
Hello?
Did I miss your call? I liked your investor letter. I took a weird tone of voice with Uncle Warren.
The investor letter part was awesome. I like how you improvised that because he really put a lot of work into that.
He actually did, and it came over the weekend, so I was like, it's something believable that I would say to Uncle W, should he call.
I liked your investor letter. It was nice. It was from the heart.
Yeah.
He called himself the contractor and Charlie the architect.
That was really sweet.
Yeah.
The care that he felt for Charlie Munger and their friendship is really beautiful.
Yeah, I like both of them. And I liked how Charlie Munger just didn't give a you-know-what. And he just spoke his...
And he spoke hot lines.
Yeah, he did.
Like, he had, honestly, some really funny, things that were funny and insightful at the same time, which was cool.
Guys, there's something to talk about here. I'm trying to get filled on Meta, but anybody who's traded Meta knows how spready it is. I was sitting here at 488 on the dip. It crossed, as you can see over here. We got a quick dip below 488, but it didn't cross enough for me to get filled. That's fine, and it's going without me now. It's about 488 and 2/3. This one's holding that level and on its way up to pivots. Pivots on my side chart here, 488.5, 488 and 2/3. Let's see what it does. It doesn't look like it's going to stop. The future's pumping and everything is moving here. Save and accept for AAPL. And I want to talk about what just happened here on Apple because people are talking about it. Look at this wick up and then quick move down on Apple. No, that is not a dark pool. That is a real print that's showing up on my platform and also showing up on P Pro 8. This is clearly something to do with VWAP. It comes right into VWAP, and then you get that immediate selling by programs extraordinaire on Apple. I mean, anybody knows. Anybody who's seen those ones come in on the tape on Apple knows exactly what I'm talking about. There's all these algos that trade it. Anyway, and then you got a big move down. But we haven't given up the ghost right now on AAPL. We'll see what we get. There goes 489 on Meta. Man, I feel like a dingbat not having taken this. Well, I mean, I put my order out there. It didn't get filled. Meta is on the way up, baby. 489.25. The future's on its way to 18,050. A lot of strength in Meta right now. Amazon also waking up. Softy above 409. Google is curling into VWAP at the moment as well. And Nvidia still south of VWAP, though, but still up 2% on the day, no question. So lots of strength right now in the Mag 7 names. Trying to get into something here, but the spread, I guess I'm just too frugal for my own good, man, because I should be punching in and not worrying about these 10, 15 penny ranges and just getting into the names that I like. Awfully good look today on META, now up over 1%. And Softy as well. Softy's through pivot point, resistance 1 on its way possibly into 410 with a 410.20 high, by the way, on MSFT. Kling Daddy, Elaine's answering machine message. Funny. Elaine's? What did she say? It's George's answering machine message. I don't think Elaine has an answering machine message.
Oh, it's Seinfeld. Okay.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
No, I was trying to say that to myself because I didn't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Kling Daddy, let me know what you're talking about because I don't remember Elaine having an answering. I know there's George. Believe it or not, George isn't at home. Please leave a message. Na, 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 na. You don't know.
Not know that.
Yeah. Believe it or not, yeah. Alex S knows exactly what I'm talking about too. Mateus Lay knows exactly what I'm talking about as well. All right, guys, let's have a look at Sidhu as well because we were looking at that name. Okay, Sidhu. So comes in, puts in that 810 bounce, and here we go again, 870. So a shout out to Olivier. He was holding this name, and there goes Sidhu making a higher high. This is a good look here. I'm going to send it to you while I get in.
Yeah, no, enjoy getting onto the rocket ship that is Sidhu, which actually makes rocket ships. Also, I guess you can't say Sidhu because it's like, it sounds like a Sidhu, but Sidhu, I don't know. The point is it looks good. Best of luck. Or Skidoo, says Fabian there, which I enjoyed. I'm trying to get involved in this NVIDIA long. We were trying to get in at 791.01. I had it ready to go, and then NVIDIA was like, oh yeah, you're a couple cents too late. We got to 791.06, and it said, bye-bye, I'm gonna be flying to the upside. That's okay, I can wait, I'm patient. If we rested this 90 MA back into that 791 area, you better believe I will be trying my hand with this trade. I was talking kind of ad nauseum, honestly, incessantly, about what we're doing here at NVIDIA at VWAP. I like that we broke above VWAP. I wanna see what happens here. I'm really interested in getting involved in this. I think we're gonna try. I don't want to get involved too hastily either, though, you know what I mean? So if we have a nice little rejection, a little bounce off that trampoline that is the 90 MA, I think that could be a nice little look here for the long in NVDA. Also, I did hop out of the Cybertruck right before the lesson began just because I wanted to make sure I was fully focused on the lesson and not the ridiculousness that is Stressla. But now Stressla continuing to curl up. If we have another kind of dip by opportunity off this 90 MA, and again, you know, Neil was talking about anchoring. I think I'm probably a little bit too anchored, quite honestly, to this level, and it's something I need to work on. But yeah, I think this this curl here, though, is quite nice. I also like that we had resistance turned into support from the 90 MA, the short on the way down here, resistance to support on the way back up. Also, Sharif did like a superhero type pump there, so he's excited, he's very pleased. Pamp it indeed. A lot of people, though, mentioning Sound Coin. Oh my gosh, this pop up on SoundHound. I'm really sad I missed this range. It's only like 10 pennies, but this is a beautiful look on SoundHound. Congrats to anybody involved in this. Release the hounds, and they were released to the upside, all the way up into 735, pulling back here into 725. Still a really good look. Aaron Scott Matthews saying Sidhu doing a superhero pump, and Sharif did a superhero fist pump over there as well, so I bet he agrees.
Well, how come we can't hear it, guys? It's not as exciting if we just see the money spinning. You can hear it? Could you hear it? No?
But I'm really a bad person to ask for that.
You can hear it because you got headphones on, you lucky duck. Wow, is that how it is, Chilean Nightmare? Okay. No, we just got that 870 breakthrough, Sidhu, and then we wet our beak right there through 905. Shout out to the 905. My Toronto people know what I'm talking about. But this one is still going. Shout out to you, Olivier. Good trade on your part, buddy. Definitely a lot better than mine. But Sidhu continuing to pump here. SIDU above VWAP. Nice hold with the higher low, and then we get that higher high through the break of that level. But watch out for the bamboozlement as quickly as this one pops, as quickly as it can move down. So make sure you got resting orders, or you got some keys, or you're quick with it, or whatever. But Sidhu presenting you opportunities. We just wet our beak there with a couple of outs. We'll see what we get here on SIDU. Yeah, sorry.
So no, sorry, I didn't know.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I was just gonna say congrats. It's a
Well,
really
thank
nice
you.
look.
Yeah, okay. Can I go on?
Yeah, please do.
I have my meta trade still out there, Adair, and I don't think it's as valid as I'd like it to be anymore. This 488 level, guys, on meta, I think I'm going to remove that because this one, well, it retraced back into 488 and a half, Fabian, 488 and a half or thereabouts. But now it looks like it is moving back into that 489 area. And look at the future is at resistance level 2 on pivots. The future is awfully strong today. It's on its way back into that 18050. So these Mag 7 names are going to present you with opportunities if the future continues to pump up here. And I want to show you this too. Now I know that you took this trade on Amazon earlier, and you got caught in this thing, which was the only time it broke VWAP. That's how trading is, right?
It is.
But look, for the most part, you would say that it's respecting VWAP for the most part, right?
So, yeah.
Well, look where it's also respecting Adira. Resistance levels 2 on pivots, 175.25. This is actually a great range trade, funny enough. But the thing about this is it's not giving you either end of the range. It's just hanging out in the middle.
That's the thing. That's why
right?
it was so hard to time. So I just kind of had to walk away from it.
I really don't. And the funny thing is, it looks like it's really respecting the 20 period here, which is the yellow line on my chart. I know it's awfully close to the green one, but all the dips into the 20 are being bought up. Ideally, I would have wanted a bit of a wider range at least, give me something here, maybe that 174.50 to the sell side, then we can talk about 175 and a quarter, so 75 pennies worth of range. You can rinse and repeat, but it's not even giving you that. Amazon, for the most part, is giving you like a 20 penny range, save and except for this one quick dip into 174, which we didn't happen before, and it didn't happen again on AMZN. So look, it's awfully strong on the day, 1%, holding above VWAP, above the yesterday's close, this, that, and the other, but it's not giving you that range trade. Now, Meta is coming into 488 again. And so I canceled my order, but that doesn't mean I can't put it back out there. Katina, man, what are you doing over there? What are you in at the moment? Short AMD 190. I was going to ask you about Meta. Yeah, it's on the page. We'll check it out. We'll check it out. I just want to get your opinion on Meta, but if you're in AMD, then Yeah, he's not trading Meta today.
6 other names.
He's short 6 other names. He's taking everything south, baby. It's all on the other channel. More Trader TV Live. Check it out. Is an information-only channel. Link in the description, baby. What else we got here? Adara. Apple continues to curl up a little bit after that bamboozling wick into VWAP. We're stair-stepping up incrementally. Kind of looks like a bit of a double bottom off that 179 3/4. So that buy program at 180, whoever's running it, keeps turning it on at 180 because that 180 level got defended again, even though broke technically will right above again. So.
Yeah, no, a lot of these Mag 7 names giving you lots of little
I'm in meta.
spicy opportunities. Sharif saying, he is in meta.
I'm getting out.
Okay.
No. I don't want this trade. I didn't plan it. I don't want it. I got out. Go ahead.
That was like when I realized I was in Tesla for way longer than I realized it was in Tesla. Sometimes you just gotta punch out. So I think it was ALX in the chat saying gnarled finger. Sometimes you do it and you just have to leave, say sayonara, and keep on keeping on. Pardon?
S-O-U-N. Have a look at S-O-U-N.
Okay,
It's
S-O-U-N.
pumping Adara. Yeah.
Whew! Sorry for the laugh. I apologize there. I'm so sorry. I wasn't prepared for that reaction, but oh my gosh, this move. Earlier we were looking like Amazon, chopping and churning around that VWAP. Then we pop up with the viciousness, with the swiftness.
Do you have a headline? Because I don't have a headline.
I know we have earnings coming up tonight, and I know this name's been pumping in general the last couple of days, right? I think this could be an overall pump.
No.
10 a.m.
No.
Just saying, yeah, just spotlight ahead of earnings.
Yeah,
but also, I know, like, honestly, too, I will say, like, looking at the Twitter when I'm on the big desk, the way that people will put pumping names on there is crazy. So I think this could be that as well.
Yeah,
Because AMD earlier, you know, Sean was like, are you seeing anything AMD? All I was seeing was people, and like tons of people, like within the minute, you can see within seconds, like text, being AMD, right? So
You want a tea?
sure.
Yeah?
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I sounded like Elvis there. Yeah, so I want to clarify as well, not sick, just a little bit light of throat instead of, I guess, lighthearted. I don't know. The throat's doing a thing, but that's okay. We're going to keep on going. I'll also pull up this NVDA because I did get involved in this. I'm pretty happy with this right now. Got involved at 791.50s, tried to get the dip buy off that 791. Alas, it did not end up coming. That's okay. I'm trying to get out part of this position, 792.45s. If that, just so we can get right before that earlier top of 792.50. If that doesn't come to fruition, I'm okay with getting out some of this right around this VWAP area. But basically, I like the idea that we have this nice curl, this pseudo, I don't want to say head and shoulders, but we did have a dip down, bigger dip down, and then a smaller dip down, right? Like that 789 area, giving a little bit of a cushion. Higher lows. We broke above that earlier area of resistance in VWAP, so I'm okay with this as of right now, but I'm also willing to look for, you know, adding a little bit more to this trade. But yeah, this sound move has been nuts. Like these sound out fans definitely howling to the upside here. Also, Alex MM saying, can you check small cap CRIS? And I can. Let's look in to see what CRIS is doing. Okay, not seeing any news on this. Curious. Let me see. Let me pull up. Okay, so the thing is, this is not really a lot of volume here, right? It has about 30,000 shares in the day for what I'm seeing, so very minimal volume, which makes it a little bit harder to analyze. Certainly seeing an uptrend. We're up about 8% in the day, but I will pull up the daily chart to kind of give a sense of this here. Yeah, on the daily, I mean, a bit of a top here, right, at this 1060 area. Also coming into where we had that, earlier support as well, around that 1060. So I think that's kind of an interesting level. But yeah, honestly, a little bit harder to find stuff on this just because it is very minimal volume here on the day for CRIS for Curious. Also, thank you so much, Shakuri2S, for the $2 super chat. Much appreciated, saying, caught that DWAC trade. Appreciate y'all. Cartwheel emoji, mushroom emoji. Well, cartwheel emoji and mushroom emoji to you as well. Corey, thank you so much. Thank you very much to Sharif for the tea. And, you know, we're always trying to spill the tea on markets around here, so we're always happy if people are, you know, able to get in some way, because that's what we're here for, is to spread some knowledge and hopefully, you know, do so in an entertaining way. Also, this Nvidia is getting a little bit spicy. I'm going to try to get out part of this, I think, just above those 792s, because, like I said, patience is a virtue that I often lack in spades. So, and that the more we get dicey around VWAP, the more I think we kind of need to get a little bit out of this. Also, Tanner Bronson, can you take a look at them double apple bottom jeans at 180? And yes, we can. Let's see if we have the boots with the fur as well. Let's look at that apple right here, right now. Okay, yeah, this is an interesting look. It's also interesting too, because it's a little bit lower than a double bottom. We certainly had like a decisive bottom, and look at that massive candle there, that 179. Then we come and we dip a little bit lower here, low, which I didn't even realize that was going to be a pun until I said it, but around that 179.75 area, right? Then we consolidate for that nice move up. This is a nice look, but I would be extremely cognizant of this area that we're getting into here. It's not exact, but we had that base at 180, 45-ish area earlier. Then we pop into 180.60. Now we're trying to crawl back down. So yeah, ALX saying the whole club was looking at her, and yeah, I think the whole market's looking at her, and by her I mean Apple right now. Apple certainly low on the day, but not as low as it has been. Going to be very cognizant of AAPL after it's made that double apple bottom jeans. What we're going to see doing. Someone made that comment in the chat, and I had to run with it. And I'm going to have to see what we do here. I hope that helped you, Tanner Braun here. I hope that helped in the chat. Also, Robert Parambi, thank you so much for the $1 super chat. No message here, but very grateful for your support and very grateful to Sharif for my tea.
Oh, yes,
Thank you.
more than welcome. Meta's holding this 488 area, which also happens to be VWAP. We break VWAP. Do we hold it? I got out of that Meta trade because I had a resting order from a previous look, and I didn't want to be committed to it. But now that I've had another look at it, and the price action has had an opportunity to develop, I'm starting to like it again, especially if it holds the 488. I'm watching intently here, thinking maybe we'll get in, maybe ride this into 489. Let's go, baby. Let's put that order in. Obviously, we don't get filled, and obviously it goes without us yet again on Meta. It's so spready, such a tough name to get filled at the price you want. Eek. All right, there we go. Now it's dipping. Come on, fill me. Fill me.
What is happening?
It's not filling. No, I know, because it's a spready name. This has been characteristic of Meta since it was in the $100. It was spready then, it's spready now. Now we're dipping. Do we get the fill now? We're still not getting filled on Meta. Okay, so, well, that's fine. We'll wait.
Oh, it's actually my chart. I just realized it's not yours.
Oh, okay, that's fine. No, I was looking at my screen.
Oh, okay, I just wanted to make sure because someone was pointing that out.
Yeah, that's a good point. There. Yeah, I'm looking for a Meta move here. I want to get the right price because I may not be in it for that long. Anyway, Softy continues to pump. It's at a high right now at 409.5. The ultimate high on the day, though, is that 410 area. Softy looking awfully strong, uninterrupted to the north side. And there goes Meta without me again, holding that 488. So just do it, bro. Anyway. That's fine. Nvidia also now breaking through VWAP, Adara, as it comes into that 793. It's putting in a nice series of higher highs and higher lows. Good look here for Nvidia as it's been below VWAP the majority of the morning, say from around 1050 onwards. It hasn't been able to take VWAP. Now it takes it. Here comes 793 on Nvidia. We already know we did a dance with 799 earlier, right? Because we were at 799.15, breaking through resistance level 2 on pivots, and now we break through VWAP. Here comes 794 possibly. Nvidia, the strongest of the Mag 7 names on the day, and AMD is back into that 190 area. Are you still short 190, Katina man? Because, yeah, it's coming right back into that area. NVIDIA probably getting a bit of a pump here, likely from this AMD. And the Katina man, I was talking to him in the kitchen. He's like, the only thing I really found today on AMD was that there were a bunch of unusual call option activity. I don't know why. What is AMD reporting?
AMD reported back
already
with Microsoft and Google.
Yeah. So then there's, what the hell? Okay, well, let me just check something here. Any economic, March 5th, Advanced Micro Devices at the Morgan Stanley Media and Telecom Conference. That's going to be interesting. Okay, so mark your calendars, baby. March 5th, Morgan Stanley Technology and Media Conference, AMD, as well as likely Lisa Su and crew will all be there. You like that?
The Lisa crew.
The Lisa crew. Oh my goodness. You're undefeated. We'll be there March 5th. That's going to be an interesting day. I've got to put that in my calendar as well because it's not going to just be AMD that's moving. Let's be real. All the people who are invited are likely going to be dropping hot lines at that conference as well, making their stocks more volatile. So we want to know about that. WCM Good Tunes. Thank you very much for the $4.99 super chat, my friend. Can you check the short interest on VLCN? Absolutely, for you. Here it is. Let's go to Trade Ideas. Shout out to Trade Ideas. Make sure to use TraderTV20 for 20% off VLCN. So this is Volcon Incorporated. Oh my goodness. Am I seeing this for real? Neil, look at this. 64.18 of the float is shorted, And on Trade Ideas, it says Volcon has a short float of 134,000 shares. Let me check my platform. VLCN, yeah, that's crazy. That's going to be one of the highest ones I've ever seen. I know that during the meme craze, more than the entire float was shorted for some of the meme names.
I saw that GME, I know, was apparently
Yeah.
110 at one point.
Yeah, and like, don't even get started on how that mechanics work on that. Anyway, with respect to VLCN, I'm seeing a float, a total float of 1.2 million shares. Trade Ideas is showing a float of 134,000 shares. That's going to prompt me to see if there was a split done on this name, and there was. There was a split back February 5th. So that probably has something to do with the fact that Trade Ideas is showing 103,000. I'm seeing 1.25 million. Excuse me. So I don't know if the short float is accurate, but right now it's saying 64.18. Make sure you have another source to verify that, especially post split there. All right, Meta came back into 488 yet again, which happens to be that VWAP level on META. Do we take another shot here, or is the opportunity over? Going to keep watching, thinking, and deciding. What's your look, Adara?
Well, I think thinking and deciding could be like the name of like the trader's life. You know what I mean? We watch, we think, we decide. But yeah, no, I think that's really, that definitely contextualizes. We have that conference coming up with Lisa Su and her Lisa Suits and her group, you know, because she has the killer blazers, right? Something that Sharif mentioned as well. We have the social media team on. They're going to be coming back on Friday.
It's Lisa Suits from now on.
Lisa Suits? I mean, she's earned the name, and we say it out of respect because she rocks those blazers, and Sharif loves that Pepsi-colored blazer.
I have a lot of respect for that woman.
Yeah.
Like she turned. Okay, I got to tell you something.
Please do.
Thought AMD was absolute trash. I had a laptop that had an AMD processor about 10 years ago, and it was hot garbage. Hot garbage. Intel was just far superior. She's taken this company. She's made it into something, man.
She really has.
Like, good for her.
And also, it's interesting because both she and her some kind of second cousin, I forget exactly how they're intertwined or related, but Jensen Huang, they're both, who was the CEO of Nvidia, they are both often, when I was seeing, ranked on like the top most liked CEOs as well, which is kind of interesting.
AMD
so clearly,
through 190.
Pardon?
AMD through 190.
Oh my gosh, okay, I'll pull that up in a second. I'm just kind of trying to range play this IWM short, trying to pop this back to the downside. We're gonna have to see. I do want to talk about my my Nvidia trade in a moment because that was in vindication. Yeah, I don't know. That was a crazy look, but I want to talk first about this AMD. Yeah, this pop into 190. If you got that dip buy here on the 90 MA, whew, congrats to you. Look at that little candle there confirming it as well. We have this move up into 190.8960. Then we have a big move down. Then buyers overwhelm seller. It's like a little supercharge back to the upside. Really nice look here for 190 for AMD. Shout out to everybody who's in the same. Congrats to you. Fantastic look. And yeah, it looks like doesn't really look like we're stopping here, although I think this wick back down into I would say we should probably hold 190 though, because this could be a little bit of a top and tail candle pretty quickly. That being said, nice look. I do want to address this Nvidia trade because I was, I don't want to say this again, but I was pleased as punch. We got involved in that 791.50 area. I wish I had a better point of entry, but that's okay. You get what you get, and you try not to get upset. Though, as Sharif says, traders are always mad. Yeah. So you probably will be upset anyway. But nevertheless, I got out part of this position at that 792 because we were fighting with 792. I knew we could get above VWAP because we had before on that candle I bought into. We actually had briefly dipped above VWAP. So I said, it is possible, but I wanted to get part out at 792 just in case. The plan was to reload if we got back down, but Nvidia said, we're not doing that. We're going to keep going to the upside. So I said, okay, Nvidia, do your thing, 21. I got everything out at 793. Kind of, honestly, like I said, I think there's a difference between revenge trading and avenge trading. And I did have, as you can see, this is maybe one of, you always talked about how it's really sad to get out of the bottom wick. Yeah. And I mean, yeah, talk about that in this Nvidia long. Then we tried the short, and the timing was clearly, if we had been one candle off, it would have been fine. But that's okay. We had one nice short there in the range, and then again, seeing some patterns, had another nice long. So the market, as long as you stay focused, as you said, watching, waiting, listening, that something's going to shake out as long as you're working hard and paying attention. And so
I like how you threw in that you get what you get and don't get upset Neil-ism. Was that Neil's drop
I feel
from
like
yesterday?
Neil did drop it a couple days ago too, yeah.
Yeah, hold on. I'm pretty sure, because he had more in there too. It wasn't just that, right? It was
Yeah, there were like
that.
a couple things in that too.
Neil's great. He's like,
think
I
he and
just
I
came
both
up
been
with it.
saying
He's
it,
so happy with himself. Every trade can always be better. There are good trades, not perfect trades. You get what you get and don't get upset. Yeah,
There we go.
That's Neil's little
So
hotline
Neil,
there.
thank you very much for that beautiful hotline there. But yeah, Nvidia continuing to fall. I don't have a play on this because it's not really rangy. But if we bounce off VWAP, that could be interesting to me. IWM, I would call it IW meandering. You know, we talked about random walk. IWM is taking a very slow walk to the downside here. We're a couple pennies in the money, so no complaints from me. I'm going to give this about 15 pennies. If we get into that 203.90 area, I'm going to have to say au revoir. And I'm going to be taking some profits here around that 203.50, getting the whole kit and caboodle out of this trade. I don't have enough to piece it out, so that's going to be how it goes here. Also, it's really funny too because Neil saying this, the best part about that line is literally I tweeted it out 15 seconds after Adara said it, and now everyone actually believes it's mine.
Oh, okay. So
I didn't even think about that.
You actually said it. That's why you didn't give Neil credit, because usually you give credit to everybody.
Do.
Right?
That's why, because I was confused about who said it first.
Okay.
So that's why I also...
He's so proud of himself too. He's smirking.
Who's on first? Literally, who's on first over here? But yeah, so IWM trickling to the downside. Also, too, I was seeing, you know, some people in the chat saying like, oh, like, you know, I am still in the sim. I want to clarify, and I do want to go live. But also today, that first Nvidia trade was rough, right? And so I want to make sure that I'm making the most if I do go live, and like, you know, I want to be able to prove profitability in the sim. The negative days far outweigh the positive days. I'd like to get that ratio
Really?
a little bit. Oh, for me,
okay.
I would say so. Like I'll have like good weeks and then like bad weeks. You know what I mean? But I've never had one full week of positivity. So, you know, we're trying to work on it. I just wanted to be really honest and open here because that's what we do here at Trader TV Live.
Appreciate you.
Thank you. Appreciate you. How are you doing here?
You know what? I'm watching it, Adara, but it's not. Look, it comes a little bit below 488. I'm talking about Meta, and then it pops right back up again, guys, right above that 488.5 level. Fabian, if I can show the chart. Basically, what I'm looking for is a break and hold above 488.5, and maybe we could test 489. But what I'm getting for the last maybe, let's just say almost half an hour or so, is this sideways consolidation between 88 and 88.5. You get a wick above, a wick below, but generally it's within that area. We're also a little bit, we're near that 18050 on the future. Keeping my eye on that. Let's see what Sidhu is presenting us with. So another possible entry here on SIDU as it popped through 9, but look where it comes down to, that 8.5. And why is that 8.5 important? Because that's another higher low. So you get that continuous sequence of higher highs and higher lows that has not broken. What you really don't get though is that break through that 9 2/3. So you don't have that higher high. You have those higher lows, but not necessarily that higher high. So keep your eye on that as it presents you with opportunities. It's still above VWAP though, so tradable in my book. SIDU up 55%. We had a couple of trades on this bad boy, or not couple, one. Sorry, I thought I had more than one. I had the other one on the other small cap capper, ENVB. This one over here, we only had one trade on. So this 8.5, another interesting opportunity, maybe putting in another higher high through that 9 1/4 where we topped out last time. So Sidhu presenting you still with good opportunities on the day. It's the only tradable small cap gapper. Let me pull up SOUN because I didn't put it up on my side chart. So SOUN coming down a little bit right now. It's well above VWAP too. Like, and SOUN did not do much on the day. Let's be quite honest about it. Look at where the volume started coming in right at 1 o'clock. That's not by accident. That whatever program got turned on, it got turned on. It was set to turn on at 1 o'clock, baby, because that volume came in right on the money. And you could tell, look at this huge gap in volume here from essentially 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock. Volume much lower. You obviously have the high volume during the open, and then we're not really supposed to have volume at 1 o'clock on a small cap gapper like this, but that's why I'm saying, you know, clearly something was afoot here. Anyway, putting in higher lows, but not necessarily that higher high. We haven't broken through that 7 what was that top there? 758 on the day on SoundHound. So if you're going to get in here at 7 1/3, you need to keep your eye on 7 1/4, because if you break through 7 1/4, that's a newer low. You may have support at the 7 1/4 though, not just for the price action level, but you got the 50 period there moving up with you, looking to kind of backstop maybe any descent through 7 1/4. So SoundHound continuing to give you opportunities, as in the same look with Sidhu. And Sidhu and SoundHound look awfully similar in their charts too. A little bit, but once I flip to the 5, let's see if they look similar. No, they don't. So it was the 1 minute on SoundHound and the 5 minute on Sidhu, so they don't look similar. Yep. Let's flip back to Big Tech, Adair, just so I can see what Meta is doing here. Meta still continuing to hold above 488, continuing to hold above VWAP, but a very consolidative look here between resistance level 1 on pivots and VWAP at the moment. So continuing to watch this one. I want to get in something on Meta. It's obviously strong on the day, but I don't want to get in at the wrong price, so we'll watch.
Yeah, that Meta was, I've been kind of trying to avoid Meta today intentionally, because I found the spread, you mentioned it too today, the spread of Meta is nuts, and it can get you chopped up really badly. So I think I just kind of didn't want to participate. Also, so I switched up the IWM short. We did make a couple cents here. Basically, I honestly, if I'd stayed in it, we could have taken it to the bottom of the range. The reason I got out, though, is because we were kind of looked like a little bit bouncy around that 203.70 area. And then I realized, Adara, we had that big move up. This could actually be a play for a break to the upside. So I decided to switch to the short. As long we're holding up extremely well at the bottom of the end of this range. So I'm going to stand as long as we keep above that 203.58, 203.60 area. If we break below into 203.55, say, I'm going to have to say goodbye, especially because, look, we have that 203.50 area. Previous area of resistance and support can flip-flop. So I'm going to be really cognizant here of what we do here. I think I'm going to have to de-risk some of the position because we might be getting a little bit dicey. But it's too bad. The one time we actually have a very pure range move, I get a little bit freaked out and I scalp out. That's okay. Like I said, honestly, just very honored to be learning in this market every single day. So that's what we got here with IWM. Now it's starting to pick up. We're going to have to see how this goes. I'm comfortable keeping the rest of the position. I have enough for 2 B quarters.
All right, news headline coming in here, not that long ago, but an hour ago. The SEC is expected to drag its feet on approving a new batch of crypto ETFs. They didn't say if they were Bitcoin specific, they said crypto. So this could be what everybody was waiting for, the Ethereum ETF and all the other, the Cardano, etc. It looks like the SEC will not be quick to approve a new batch of crypto ETFs. Here's what the story reads. Buoyed by the successful launch of the U.S. Bitcoin exchange-traded funds, asset managers are lining up to list a second wave of more complex crypto products, setting the stage for another tussle with the U.S. securities regulator. The SEC rejected spot Bitcoin ETFs more than a decade. Okay, no. Let me get to the actual new part. The SEC remains uncomfortable with cryptocurrencies and complex exchange-traded products, and lawyers and industry sources said they expect the agency to move cautiously. It doesn't seem like there's a rush to approve the second wave of products. Gary Gensler remains a crypto critic when approving the, okay, so nothing concrete with respect to a statement from the SEC itself, but it looks as if market commentators are not predicting any new spot crypto ETFs. I was going to say spot Bitcoin, but spot crypto ETFs. We already have a plethora of spot Bitcoin ETFs. All right, Apple right back down to 180 Adara again, yet again. However, if it holds up at this 180 level, it'll be a higher low and a higher high that we got. So even though Apple's down 0.75% on the day, I'm going to be watching again to see if we hold not just at 180, but anything really above this 179 and 2/3, 179 and 3/4, because if we put in a higher low, I'll get it on the back end and maybe we can ride it for like another 50 pennies or 40 pennies or whatever it's going to give us on the day. But anyway, Apple back down to 180. So I just want to point that out for anybody who wants to have a trade set up based on that. What else we got over here? What is Meta? Meta now broke down below 488. So kind of happy I didn't really take that. Let's see what the chat is up to over here. What are people talking about? All right, Jose Mercado, what's up, man? Why LVTX squeezing? Can you check? Absolutely. Let me look what LVTX. Lava Therapeutics up how much? 33.33%. Do I have a headline here?
Oh.
129. Here it is. Watching Lava Therapeutics shares spike higher. Traders circulate speculative ex-post rumoring Pfizer is going to talk about LVTX partnered EGFR bispecific. What does that even mean? This stock pretty much forgotten about. That comes to us vis-a-vis Benzinga. Do you have the same headline?
I do have the same headline.
It's the same headline, yeah, because she's on Benzinga. Okay, whatever that is, shout out to you, Jose Mercado. That's the look there, and do with that what you like. Let me show everybody though. LVTX, VTX, is that a NASDAQ name? It is. Here's the look. We're at 3.25. This is pumping here. And the volume just started coming in on this, guys, because that headline just came in at around 130. The volume started coming in at around 124. Now it's really pumping. Here comes 3.25. We're already through 3.25. So now we're looking at 3.33, maybe 3.5, 50% to the good now. I was just talking about this being 33%. Check that, 50% now. A lot of volatility. Let me give you details on this name. The float, 18.75 million share. The short float, let's bring that down. Shout out to Trade Ideas, LVTX. Short float, negligible. According to Trade Ideas, 0.08%. Nothing to do there. Let's keep an eye on this. See if it comes into a key level, maybe 3. I'll be looking maybe to defend 3. I'm not punching in at highs. I'm just not going to do that. It's not my style.
Yeah, no, and I think especially too punching in highs and these small caps can be a way to make your account a small cap. Yeah, no, and all jokes aside though, we always do say be very cautious with risk, especially with regards to these.
Make your account a small cap.
You know, but in all seriousness, risk management, right? Like
100%.
It is a harsh truth. Also, some people mentioning Dell earnings.
Oh.
So. Coming up tonight.
Dell was telling people to stop trading. Yeah, like he literally, there was a press release. It says to traders, stop trading. I think they're getting annoyed with people pushing down on their stock. Yeah, I'm gonna find it as well. Keep going, I'll look for it.
Yeah, okay.
I'll look for it.
I think this Dell look is interesting. Actually not bad volume, because I know this one isn't usually typically considered a day trading stock, right? But what I love, and we know I love these areas of support and resistance. Shout out to everyone here killing it with these, but also, sitting next to Sharif, I've really learned how to pick up on these. We have this massive resistance here in the pre, heading right into the open, then we go down to the downside, pop right back up. Then we come and have a little rest, a little break from this move up at this 93.60 area. So I think this could be interesting. We're sort of seeing higher lows, but we haven't made a higher high in a little bit, right? We certainly have a little bit of resistance around this 94.30 area, right? 1, 2, 3 touches of this. Then we make a slightly higher high. I think, honestly, we would need to probably eclipse 94.50 to give a good sense of continued uptrend heading into these earnings today. So that's my take on DELL. Did you find anything in that
No, I'm
story?
looking for it, though. But, I saw it on CNBC today, so I know what I saw. I just can't find the actual headline itself. I'll keep looking for it.
That's okay, yeah. I think that also I'm going to pull up, again, these are mentioned by Irjola Guerrero. So I want to mention ADSK as well, because you brought this one up. This one a little bit less volume. We're below a milli. But I do like that we have this upward movement, these slightly higher highs. It looks like an uptrend for me heading into earnings. So I think this could be a pretty interesting look. Thank you very much for the support there, Kling Daddy. Yeah, trying to get everything done here, trying to bring the info up. Also, there was another thing that so when I said below a milli, I was like, I haven't really looked at Mademoiselle Eli Lilly in quite some time here. So let's see what she's up to. It's above $1 million too. Oh, and this is such a nice range trade. Sharif, what am I doing? Look at this move up.
Oh, that's your jam right
this is
there.
My jam, and it's on Eli Lilly.
That's okay.
Nice move down. Then we range. It's okay. And I just remember, I look at the spread and I see a 32-cent spread, 28-cent spread, and I remember, Adara, this is why you turned your back on her. This is why you left her alone. So
maybe you need to give the Mademoiselle its own chart on the side, so
I
that
think
you can
I do.
Constantly be
a perma
looking.
side chart.
A perma side
I think
chart.
I'm gonna have to do that. We're gonna have to switch it up. Thank you.
We are well below 180 yet again on AAPL. Keep your eye on this 179 and 2/3, 179 and 3/4 level. So it's been sequentially higher lows on every descent and higher highs, even though the weakness has been there on Apple. Is this the time when we make a newer low? Because we weren't able to make a newer low last time. Do we make a newer low this time? So keep watching here, 179 3/4 on Apple as it's basically comes up into VWAP and rejects. Now, you know you can't really see it that well there, but this chart will show it a lot better. And that was that quick wick up into VWAP. But for the better part, for most of us, we wouldn't have had this trade here because it spent all of 1 second there. And really would have been the play off the 50. I'm talking about the 50 penny level and the 50 EMA because literally both, right? 180.50 right there. And then the red line on my chart is the 50 exponential moving average. It curls off there. And then getting it on the downside are short. So good look for Apple as it heads down yet again. But Meta, I'm happy I didn't get into this 488 on Meta because it's done nothing. It's at 487.98, so I wouldn't have been able to print on this name. It's been awfully consolidative for the past almost 45 minutes now, man, as this one really broke through the pivot point resistance 1 at 110 and hasn't been able to break through it since that time. So Meta, even though it was giving you a good look earlier and it gave you maybe multiple opportunities to take like 50, 60 pennies, it hasn't even given you an opportunity for $1 because it hasn't touched 489. So we'll continue to watch that. What else is popping off here? All right, I don't like any of these big tech names. Let's flip. Oh, you know what I could do? I have these semi stocks set up like that, but I just need to flip them into 5. So I have, look, see these tabs on the bottom? See where it says banks, consumer defense,
your watch list that you took us through.
Yeah, no, these aren't my watch list. The watch list is on the side. These are charts, right?
Oh, that's cool.
So I can just flip to the bottom here and then get the look on the entire semi look. And that's fantastic. Okay, yeah, I'm going to do that from now on. Yeah, 190 is proving to be a great level here on AMD because, it broke through 190 for a minute, but really can't stay above there. So there's this consolidative look here at 190 on AMD, but this was really the trade that I would have loved. That VWAP bounce, and then how many candles uninterrupted green? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 green 5-minute candles in a row on AMD, and then you had that rejection off 190. So good look there. AMAT, not a stock that we typically trade. Applied Materials at day's highs, breaking through 200 at 201. Look at this up into the right move, and then it actually held yesterday's close at 197.50. So some of the good names, names that we never cover on the show, and I'm going to try to see if I can do something about that by having these tabs down here that we can often refer to and have a look at the charts, man, because AMAT looking awfully good right now. They're not all moving the same way. Like, look at Qualcomm, looks distinctly different from, Nvidia, from Intel, and then Micron looks completely different. So good look there for the chips as they are in Strongsville as a result of Nvidia. Strongsville, is that a word? We can make it up. You know,
we can make it up. So, yeah. The one thing that Sharif always tells me that I have to remember is there are no bad made-up words on this show. You word it better than that.
They're always welcome on.
Yes, that's the way you word it. They're always welcome here, and so yeah, much appreciated.
Yes.
And Strongsville. I mean, yeah. Well, we also have. Speaking of strong, we have ARM. I was thinking like ARM. Pushing up the market. ARM actually, ARM's a nice range too. Adara, you missed all the good range trades today, man. Like this is beautiful. Look at that 139.50, and then they say swiper, no swiping. Sellers overwhelmed to the downside, then we come back in, 139.50, and then we get this beautiful range forming. 138.80 base, back up to 139.50. Oh my gosh, I'm, as Sharif sometimes says, salivating as I look at this chart. This is beautiful. Really sad I missed this. I don't want to get involved mid-range, especially because the range is so small to begin with. But this is beautiful. Chef's kiss there. So I saw someone in the chat as well asking kind of about my scalp style. So yeah, I'm okay taking really, really small moves in charts. I'm going to be really real. Sometimes I'll take a little bit more, but if something goes awry, that's what I call scalpulation. If something goes awry, I'll take what I can and I'll run it for the hills in the stock. So that's basically, I guess, my approach. I'm trying to be a little bit more patient, but sometimes that's, a little bit less successful for me. I'm really just trying to figure out what kind of trader I am, you know what I mean? Fine-tuning as I learn and grow in the sim. But I think my big thing is I feel the most comfortable in scalping for sure. So I want to put that out there. Tesla at 200, or getting close to 200. I'm seeing some mentions of Tesla here. I just spelled Tesla with 2 A's for some reason, Tesla. I guess you'll be saying like, when you're in the roadster, when it goes with the
Yeah, I want to know what that's going to do, like the human physiology. Going
I know
0
you were
to
concerned
100.
about that, yeah. But yeah, I mean, that literally, I think it could do that. But this Tesla, I like this kind of like little dips. You know what, actually, as a final trade of the midday, I'm going to take this Tesla long. I like it off the 9 EMA. You just take it into that 201. The 201 area does scare me a little bit. You know, Kyle Burdett was mentioning in the chat, and I kind of mentioned this earlier as well. 201, obviously an area of resistance here. So we're not going to get out of 201. We're going to try to get out of $200.89 because I like to give myself a little bit of wiggle room. And you know, a lot of times too, and this is something I've talked to Sharif about as well, you want to set your points of exit a little bit like before you actually, like where your actual point of exit is, right? So I think that's probably how you and Sean and I all ended up getting out of Meta at the exact same point.
Remember that?
Last week, we all ended up doing 74s because you know why? Because we probably liked 75s, but we didn't want to do 75s.
Exactly.
So that's, I just think a little bit of trading psychology there. I thought that was really interesting.
Really the reason.
That we all did that basically at the same time. Also, yeah, the Q's getting a little rangy as well here too. Just kind of in that 480.38 area. But generally though, continuing to have higher highs. We had a bit of a double top at 539 on the QQQs. So let's see if we can make a higher high. I think that could be interesting. Bit of mixed sentiment here. Some successful trades, some less successful trades here in the Qs. But yeah, so much to talk about in this market as well. Nvidia, trying to kind of pull back down here. I was trying to get in this long at that 792 because I thought we were going to make, you know, continue to make higher highs. We didn't get in. I'm kind of happy we didn't because now we're getting a little bit angsty and indecisive around VWAP. So we'll have to see if Nvidia figures out what she'd like to be. You were in Lava Therapeutics.
I am. I'm in it at the moment. Long 312, line in the sand 3. It's got to hold 3 here. Otherwise, that's it. We're going to end it. Looking to wet my beak right at that 3 1/4. That'll be the first out. We'll see if this one holds. It comes into that 3 level and holds that level. So I like the higher low. Now, do we get that higher high? So that's going to be the question here. Do we get the higher high without bamboozlement? Right through the break of 3. So long 312, line in the sand 3, I'm giving it room, and I really want to stress this point out for people who are using stops on the other side of these key levels, because what ends up happening at the $3, $4 mark is that you sometimes have areas of illiquidity because there's such a big fight between buyers and sellers. So the way that I work around that is I have a stop limit order. You can use a market order, which is fine, but what I use is a stop limit order, and I give more breathing room to my stop between the triggering price and the limit price. So for example, if I have the triggering price at $2.99, I'm worried that this one might be illiquid, so I'll give the limit price to $2.90. So I have a 9-penny spread, so it can trigger between $2.99 to $2.90, and that way areas of illiquidity are sort of accounted for. You can never account for all the illiquidity. There we go through 3 1/4 Adara. Love this trade. There we go up again through that 3 1/3. Let's see what we get. 3.5 be my next out.
That's gorgeous. And I like that we're both like in these trades here with 5 minutes left in the midday. Here we go indeed. Also, sorry, I just saw this. Now this was from earlier. We didn't get to it, but thank you so much, Robert Parambi, for the $2 super chat. Winky face. Thanks, guys, for that DWAC notification. You are welcome, and thank you so much for your support, because that's why, as Sharif said, that's why we do it. That's why we're here, trying to bring some info on the markets.
Wow.
Tesla, a little bit indecisive, but we're hoping that that Roadster is going to go 0 to 100, or at least 254 to 289. That would be nice for me. Yes, I'm a little bit biased. That's where my entry and exit are, but no, all jokes aside, I like that look. Some people asking about SMCI, so we can do that for sure. Look at this VWAP rejection here off SMCI, not once, but twice around this 865 area. It's funny too, because I was like looking for stuff in the market, to see where we were moving right at 9:30, and I realized we had to just be general market pump when I realized SMCI was up like 9%. I was like, it's just a spicy market day. But yeah, nice big move up. Look, a little bit of a bull flag here, getting a pop here in SMCI. Then we come back even higher, touch 890, pull back down. We could see slow, though, as much as I say we see a bit of VWAP resistance, it could be what we saw with Nvidia, where we coil up at VWAP and then spring back to the upside. That could be what's forming here on SMCI. Jay Lee saying, be aware of a lot of big whale calls in SMCI. So yeah, I'm not getting involved in this name in any direction. If I've been too scared of Lily, I'm going to be way too scared of SMCI, let's be real.
Yeah, and Alfred was messaging me the other day. He's like, I want to short SMCI, but I'm not really comfortable at these levels. That's when it had hit the 1,000. And I said to him, brother, I'm like, are you really, is this the only trade that you could really, do you really want to take the strongest name in the market and punch short? Like, to me, the thing is, he doesn't day trade. He swing trades. So he's going to be holding on to that bad boy for a while. So he could find himself with calls or the puts expiring worthless. So shout out to Alfred. I just don't believe in trying to time the market. I'm not that smart to be able to know exactly where these tops and bottoms are going to be, right? Let's just go with the trend, right? Participate, don't anticipate.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Apple held that higher low again, Adara. So I want to point this out because we were talking about the consecutively higher lows on Apple. And so you got 3 now higher lows on AAPL. The first being around here at 179.55. And then we based out at 179.65. And this time, I thought it would be 75, but no, alas, it's not to be. We based out at 179.73. And up we go again here on AAPL, looking to move into that 179 and 1/5, 179 and a quarter. 1 minute left on the show before the big kahunas come on. And unknown, $2 super chat. Thank you very much. Check out GXAI. I'm going to look at that super quick before we send you off. Thank you for the super chat. Let's see what this bad boy is. GXAI. Oh, another AI name. Okay.
Shocker.
Right? GXAI, Gaxos. It's down at 3 1/3. It's not doing much. Look, it closed out the day yesterday at 55 1/4 pennies. Right now it's trading at 53 1/2 pennies. The volume isn't there. The volatility isn't there on the day with respect to day trading. With respect to the daily chart there, you can tell it's a former runner. It had its big day on February 16th, but ever since then, they've been inside days and topping tail candles. Make sure to follow the trend on this. Don't try to guess.
Do not try to guess. And yeah, thank you so much to Bears versus Bulls. Thank you. We appreciate you for all you do here. And we will see you tomorrow for the efficient market hypothesis. Same bat time and the same bat channel. But for now, you are going to be seeing Brendan at the big desk.
Hey guys, yeah, welcome back in. 2 o'clock on a busy afternoon here. A lot to consider as we head into the final.